preparing the live stream, the meeting.
All right.
So this should be fun, guys. For everybody at home, they should like this. So
Yeah.
all right. And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On today's episode, we got a very special guest. We have Echo-Based Collectibles here, and he is one of the most knowledgeable people in this hobby, especially when it comes to a lot of the areas that me and you were probably not around for, especially that I call it the mid-era stuff. So right after, I call it right after the hype period. So pretty much 2003 all the way up to, a little after, I think 2009. And he'll be able to explain a little bit more of his timeline, but he has a lot of that knowledge that a lot of us really don't have. And the things we really have to really dive deep down the rabbit hole. But yeah, so Joe, I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to everybody.
Cool. Thanks, Knowledge. Yeah, super happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. It's gonna be fun. So for those of you that don't know, you guys haven't seen me, my name is Joe, Echo-Based Collectibles. And yeah, like Knowledge was saying, I've been around since the beginning for Pokemon. I remember playing in the Toys R Us leagues way back in the day. Got to the point where me and my friend group started to become the gym leaders of the different leagues that we had. And eventually I hooked up with Mike Martin, Pokepop, for those that remember the Poke Gym days. Mike was very heavy. He was on Team Compendium, so he was on the rules team for Wizards of the Coast that actually dealt with the card interactions and the rulings for the trading card game. So he knew all the high ups at Wizards of the Coast, and I went to his league. So he started to use me as the judge for all the local tournaments on the East Coast. So I was his head judge for many, many, many years. Judged regionals, judged nationals a few times. And then, of course, I also played. So, I went to Worlds. I went to the Fan Appreciation Tournament, which was the last blowout event that Wizards of the Coast had right before Nintendo took over. So that was right when Skyridge was out, right when Ruby and Sapphire was out at the same time.
So was that June 2003, or was that a little after June?
It was in June-ish,
June-ish,
I would say.
Yeah,
I was out of school.
Like June 18th. So Ruby Sapphire came out in July, but there was that 1 month timeline. I'm surprised Wizard of the Coast was still hosting events
that was
when Ruby Sapphire was out, because that was Nintendo.
That was their. So what happened was Wizards had there was no Worlds that year, so okay. Wizards had one blowout event where they cleaned out their stock room. They blew out everything that they had left as prize support, and they did it for the fans. It was the rumor was on the message boards, come to this event because it's going to be a blowout, and it sure as heck was. It was awesome, but it was weird because the guys from Nintendo it was at Gen Con, and the guys from Nintendo who were going to head up organized play were there, and they were like running booths demoing Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh, that's so weird.
Dude, it was so weird. It was so cool because they would when I wasn't playing, so I played in the main tournament and then I played in a few of the side event tournaments, but I was volunteering at the booth, so I was getting to know a lot of the guys who were about to take up organized play at Nintendo. They actually made me an offer. They made me an offer to come and go to Seattle and run organized play with them. They needed people. They needed. They knew who I was. They needed they needed very knowledgeable people. And I had 1 year left at college at the time, and I really considered it. I mean, it wasn't like a crazy amount of salary, but I mean, it was like, this is a dream job offer.
Yeah.
And I mean, I spent the entire weekend with the guys, Matt and Mark. I'll never forget the two guys. And there was just the two of them. It was two dudes heading up organized play. Nintendo said, here, run with this. And they're like, the first thing they needed people. They needed people who knew what they were doing, they were doing.
Tell me about your prizes. You said if they were clearing out the stock room, what place did you get, and what were some of the prizes?
I got 10th place, which is the highest I've ever placed at a Worlds level tournament, because it essentially was. I mean, I think there was like 1,000 players in my age. I don't remember how many players it was. It was a lot. But the stock room was about the size of the prize support room was, I'd say, the size of your average Toys R Us like league room that you used to go into. Like, it was an entire room that was floor to ceiling prize support. And I remember, so 10th place, I got this uncut sheet that you'll see back here. I got a case of every set up until that point. Am I still on? Am I still streaming? I don't know. My live went a little bit weird. So if you can still hear me. So yeah, I got a case of every set. I got like I actually have it right here. So what they did is they had these. I can't believe I still have this. Knowledge, can you still hear me?
All right. Can you still hear me? Sorry. I think
Yeah,
I kicked myself out of my own meeting.
that's funny. I wonder if I was still streaming.
No, that's fine. That's actually kind of funny.
That is funny.
Um,
So
yeah, go
I don't
ahead.
know if that, yeah, I don't know if that, I'll just recap. So what I was saying was, huge room of prize support, floor to ceiling, stocked with cases of cards, probably about the average size of like your average normal bedroom, maybe a little bit bigger, floor to ceiling. So 10th place, I got this uncut sheet. That's where I picked this sheet up from. And then,
So what's on that uncut sheet?
let me pull it out. Hold on. So it's a sheet of Jungle, Kangaskhan, and Vaporeon.
Okay, yeah. So the theme decks.
The
You
theme
got
deck sheet. Yep.
what is it? Water. So that's Water Blast, and the jungle one was. Oh God,
Oh,
I got.
you're
I got a
testing me.
I got a sealed one downstairs. We could answer those questions. You
Do
want to
you?
go? Yeah, you want to go
That's
get them?
cool. Yeah, man, go for it.
I'll
Why
go get
not?
both of them.
All right. So while he's gone, I'll just continue with the prize support answer. So, like I was saying, I don't know if the stream picked up, but I got a case of every set up until that point. Which was no, it didn't include base set. It was Jungle through Skyridge, and I don't think it included base set 2 either. And then they had these boxes of promo cards. So 10th place I didn't get every promo card, but I got like, so of the 41 Wizards of the Coast Black Stars, I think I got like a box about this size of almost half of them at that point. A bunch of theme decks, a bunch of deck boxes. So I put them away. I stored them. Crap. So a bunch of deck boxes too. But then I'll never. So we all stayed around until the tournament was over. First place got 10 cases of every set up until that point.
That's insane.
They
10
wheeled it.
cases.
I got a case. I was just telling everyone. They wheeled first places out on a pallet jack. They wheeled it out to them.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. Plus, I mean, he got like 10 uncut sheets, test print cards, sample, like all sorts of weird shit that I've never even seen before. Still don't remember half of it to this day. I was showing them. They had these boxes
Yep.
of promo cards. So every Wizards of the Coast Black Star up until that point.
But the full.
Like,
oh my God, dude! You're like.
so this was like, yep, like this was like this of like Hitmontop, for instance, or like Mew.
Yeah.
Like they had like 1 through not lucky just the ones that released at League, just the League promo ones.
Yep.
But I didn't get every. I was telling him I didn't get every promo card, but I got like half of them in a box like this. But 10th place got 800 card count boxes. Like, I don't even know. They were all on the pallet. It was just insane. Or first place, I should say. It was insane. It was the most prize support. But so that was fan appreciation. Now, it ruined me. It ruined me for what my thought of prize support was because the next year I went to Worlds 04, which was the first year Nintendo had it. It was in Orlando. And I topped 16th. I think I got 14th that year. I knocked out in the first round, top 16. And I was expecting like this humongous prize support. Dude, I think I got like 2 or 3 booster boxes. Like it was like, I was like, whoa, that was a huge change in prize
so
support.
like you went from this amazing thing to
it was cool though. I mean, that was the start of like, you know, the Tropical Wind promo 26, all the stamped promos. That was the first year of all those. I still have my Worlds 04 hat with all my pins and stuff on it.
Yeah, people love just collecting that stuff. So I did run downstairs. I got both theme decks. So
awesome.
So that was the Vaporeon. You could see with the Bradley's $9.99. And then I thought this one was sealed, but I guess it's open. And then it was the the power reserve, but I think
Is the little deck of cards still sealed?
yeah. So I don't know.
Yep. Nice. That's good enough. That's sealed in my opinion. That's awesome.
Like people, this is what I always explain to people. So obviously jungle, there was no shadowless cards, but for a lot of the theme decks, I have a lot of these bricks downstairs for all the cases that were potentially shadowless and weren't. And I would just keep them
Really?
sealed. But obviously for jungle, there was no shadowless. So
No. Wait, you have bricks of those for base set?
oh, I have a ton of them.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got a ton
For
of them.
for the theme deck or for the 2-player starter set?
For all no, so the 2-player starter deck, the Machamp came in a sealed like packet, so that was an individual
That's
hollow.
right. Right.
Now, well, I could run down. You want me to run downstairs?
Dude, it's up to you. It's up to you.
Dude, I can't keep running downstairs, but yeah, they came in the same bricks.
That's awesome, though.
I mean, if you've never seen it, I can show you what one looks like. I can go grab one.
I haven't seen one since I opened one. Like I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any of this stuff since I opened it.
All right, all right. Just keep talking, but I can't keep running downstairs. It'll be the last time.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So then we went on. So then I was in the next year Worlds. I think I went to Worlds 2005 and 2006. Also, yeah, I went to 6, 5, and 6. Then for, personal reasons, I had to get out of the game. Basically what happened was I was done with college, and me and a bunch of my friends, we got a house together and we started a D&D game, and everybody that like joined our D&D game weren't really in our Pokemon group, but some of them were, but some of them weren't, but they all played Magic. So of course I graduated to Magic the Gathering, played Magic for a very long time. But I didn't have enough money to support 2 hobbies. So I kind of like exited Pokemon for a while. And then, oh yeah. Okay.
So you got like
yes,
the overgrowth, and then
yes.
I can't keep running downstairs, man. I'm out of shape. Then, so you see,
oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
So like these were all ones that were potentially shadowless, but obviously they were just unlimited. So I never ended up opening them.
That's
but I have
super cool.
I have an insane amount of these downstairs.
Did you get them recently, or did you pick them back up in like years ago? Right.
This is years ago. I had these. Nice. I wouldn't touch these right now at the prices they're selling at. So
true. So I'm just about wrapping it up, the story. So then I stayed out of the hobby for about 5 or 6 years. The last set I bought, 7, 8. The last set I bought was Platinum Supreme Victors, and then I made an attempt to come back a couple years after I exited and actually started with Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and went through into Dark Explorers in the early Black White. Yeah. And it didn't, like, again, I had life stuff come up, and I wasn't as into it as I was.
Those were lackluster sets too, all around. They weren't fun to collect in a way either. So I mean, Heart Gold Silver it was, but going into Black and White,
right? Yeah. My heart just wasn't in it. I didn't have. I was chasing a feeling of childhood that I was trying to get back, of like a time gone past, basically, and it was an attempt to try and get back a part of my life that I was chasing, like a feeling, and that wasn't happening, and I just didn't have the time commitment to be able to do what I was doing before. So I picked up a bunch of sets, picked up a bunch of boosters, went to League, went to a couple pre-releases, and then just faded out again, until me and my now ex-wife, we bought this house, and I made her a promise that once we moved in, I had a good amount of space, that I have other collections too. I collect comics, I collect Transformers, action figures, and I have a lot of it, and it takes up a lot of room. And my promise to her was, okay, well, once we have the house, I'm going to start going through all my collections and start selling it all on eBay. So I got around to my Pokemon stuff, and this was right around the time of Logan Paul. And the first thing I did was I was like, I have no idea the price history of Pokemon for the last 10 years. So I hopped on eBay and just said, Pokemon completed listings, sort by highest first. And I started looking at everything, and I was like,
these are all fake. No way this is all real.
I was like, no way. Right, exactly. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
But way. And I was like, holy shit, I have a lot of this stuff. And I'm like,
How much of
The
your
more
stuff was graded though? Because obviously for the
none. I had
top,
no graded cards, nothing.
yeah, but you
Didn't
had
know
all
anything
near
about
mint
grading.
stuff, right?
I had them all near mint. I knew once I start so then I started looking at like, okay, what do I do here? Because what's the most responsible way? Mind you, my mindset at this point is still get rid of everything.
Hmm.
What's the best way to go about doing this? And I started to look into grading and what that was all about. And then the more I dug into, the more I started going through my collections, putting it on shelves, trying to sort it, trying to find the best way to sell it, I fell in love with it again. And then
Yep,
I got in a situation where it's like I don't want to sell a lot of this stuff anymore.
yeah.
But
That's the issue I ran into with a lot of my personal collection is it was easy to sell the stuff that you have like doubles and stuff. And then once you start selling the stuff that you can't replace, and especially for now, it's a lot of it's financial too, right? Is if you have a lot of cards that are worth a lot of money and you sell them all and that money doesn't go directly back in the Pokemon, it goes to paying off stuff. Like in a way, that card is gone forever. And that is a
it's true.
psychological thing a lot of people have trouble, including myself, to get over.
Yeah, that's definitely that's it right there. There's certain pieces that I was staring at them and I was like, dude, I
This is
can't let
can't
these
replace it.
I can't replace it. There's certain things that are just irreplaceable to me. Like I know this is questions asked a lot. Dan from Catch 'em All gets this question a lot. Like if you had to pick like one thing in your collection, like what's the last thing you would sell? I have a couple pieces. One of them is that uncut sheet. One of them
Yeah.
is my Worlds hat, my hats that I wore that I got from Worlds. I have a couple like gym challenge and gyms like the personal stuff, the stuff I won, the stuff that is like, the stuff that means stuff and something to me. The medals, like the old medals that you would get from the STS, the Super Trainer Showdowns.
Yep.
Um, that's the stuff I would never get rid of. I would never, like, you'd have to offer me like $1 million to get rid of it. Like it would have to be
Yeah.
life-changing money, way overvalued to the point like
Oh,
no one would ever do that.
yeah. Like I
Yeah.
have, so I have my base set Charizard that I pulled as a kid. It's like it was like CGC 4.5, like super well played. Like it was part of my deck growing up. So I used to play in the Toys R Us League. I still have my
Yep.
original like league book and everything. And then
Oh, that's cool.
so it would definitely be like that Charizard and definitely be like that league book. And I could never, I mean, it's an unlimited Charizard in super well played condition. And I wouldn't sell that thing for $1,000,
I
like
don't blame you. I know
there's
what you
there's
mean.
just some cards that are not worth it. And yeah, that's definitely one of them. But it's because when I was a kid, I pulled that Charizard. And even as an adult, I'll probably never really get a chance to pull that Charizard again because one, base set packs are extremely overvalued and the prices don't make sense. So I'm never going to open another one. So really
Right.
for me, that opportunity for that, because and that's why a lot of people go after that card. And we kind of make fun of it in a way because it's like we all have multiple of them, but you only have that one that was the first.
Yep.
And that
It's
one that
true.
means more than anything else. And I think sometimes people forget that because, for channels like Nine, for other channels out there in the smaller part of the hobby we always talk about the money and stuff. But I always tell people, I say, if you want to be successful in this hobby, you want to be successful in the long term. If you're a collector first, the investment is just something that comes along with it. And that's like the argument I hear some people say, and I think that they're wrong when they say you shouldn't just look at the investability of Pokemon. It's my answer to them is no. You can't not look at it because literally it's in your face. Like you can't start ignoring the value of your collection. Like
So one thing I always used to say to people that always, they're so against people like us that look at the investment value and the inherent value of the cards themselves. I like to tell those type of people that you were always doing this. You just didn't realize you were doing it.
yep,
There's no difference between being a kid, being on the playground, and
yep,
trading your best friend a Venusaur, a Blastoise, and a Zapdos for a Charizard
yep,
versus doing what we do, which is essentially adult trading. It's what I call it, where we use this middleman called money.
yeah.
And
Well,
I don't get,
yeah,
yep, I don't give you my 4 holograms for your 1 hologram. I give my 4 holograms to eBay. They give me money,
yeah.
and
We're
then I
trading
go and I get.
Benjamins now instead
We're
of,
trading Benjamins.
yeah,
It's all the same thing. I mean, most of us are trading to get money to get other things.
Yeah, and
It's
in a way, Echo, I'm still doing that in a way, but now the trading is just a little different. Now I need to sell some parts of my collection in order to buy some of the cards I want, like, and
exactly.
I talk about this with people all the time. It's like, yeah, if you want to live in like this fairyland world where you're literally only buying and you're never selling anything ever, like, hey, good for you. But for the majority of us in this hobby who are in it for the long run, like that is next to impossible unless you literally have just a bank account which with like an
Yeah.
imaginary number attached to it that just has an unlimited amount. But for most of us, if we want like that nice, call it anything between $4,000 to $10,000 chase card for some stuff, in order to pay for a $10,000 card, like you have to liquidate some stuff for the
Yeah,
most part. And maybe that's not
absolutely.
everybody across the board, but
And it's funny because we're in a state now where we see the value of cards. But if you were to take because the attaching a value to a card automatically attaches a rarity and an inherent value in that card,
yeah,
but it was always there. There is no way, even back in the day when your most expensive card, and I mean most expensive cards you saw was like $5,000 or $6,000,
yeah.
even back then.
And you're talking
you
like Trophy Kangaskhan at that
Yeah,
point.
I have eBay printouts that of auctions that I missed back in the day of like English VS half decks, Tropical Wind Mega Battles, Trophy Kangaskhan's going for like $1,000 a piece.
Yeah.
So even back then, there's no way I could go to a Worlds, a large scale tournament and go, hey, wow, that's really cool. I want that Japanese University Magikarp you have. I really want that card. Fine, what are you going to give me for it?
Yeah,
Oh, I'll
overvalue
give
that. That
right.
card's
Well, the thing
overvalued.
people that had the stuff knew what they were worth, and there
Hmm.
was just more trading going on.
Yeah,
Like you could just one up trade somebody 5 base set Charizards. I don't know.
I know
There
it's
is some, you know what I'm saying? Like there was more. Now people see the money, but it's all the same end goal. Like yeah, like just like you were saying, like if we want to get that $10,000 card, you could just outright pull out $10,000 in value.
oh sure.
I think at the end of the day, it's just there's a very organic market that's just like the old Beckett price guides used to be, except it's real world
Yeah.
nowadays, and people hold true to that. Like people know the value of their cards, and they're not going to let them go for less than what they can get for them because people want them and people want other things. So
Yeah.
there's
And I
less.
think definitely nowadays too is the buyer pool's much bigger too now, where
Yeah,
if you were going to try to sell at Worlds and stuff, you were really selling to at that point, like the highest end of collector out there. So they weren't going to buy any of your lower valued or call it more bulkish type cards, because that wasn't the stuff they were looking after. They were literally only looking at whatever
yes,
the highest end card was at because they weren't able to get that one. So that's
exactly.
why back then you would see this huge price disparity and where we'll look at like, okay, a Trophy Kangas card and sell for 7,000. And somebody today might be like, that is not a lot of money. But like you said, when you look at the price comparison between the most modern card at the time released highest price versus that, like you're talking like literally thousands and thousands of dollars
Yep,
gap in between. Like it's massive. And
it was.
now where the buyer pool is much larger and your stuff that was maybe more bulk, and I say the word bulkish with quotation marks, like your Chase Hollow stuff like that. Now these cards still have a buyer pool because people want these cards.
Yeah, back then there was no buyer pool for nostalgia. There
Yep.
was two categories. There was cards that were playable, staples that had value because you wanted to deck them and play them in a tournament, and then there was like the stuff that nobody could get because there was a limited amount of it.
Yeah.
That was the only two categories of cards. Like Blaine's Charizard had was like a $30 card back then because there was great decks made around it and they were hard to pull and everyone wanted 4 of them for a deck or 3 of them for a deck.
Yep.
But nobody wanted Blaine's Charizard because it was Blaine's Charizard, if you know what I mean. Like,
Nope. I hear you.
yeah,
And
but now obviously people do.
yeah. And I don't even, personally like that. I don't really love that artwork either for that card. Some people all about it. Like it's not one of my favorites. So I definitely understand what you're saying there. But
Yeah, it's
So I do want to pick your brain a little bit because if anybody out there is listening to this video and they're not subscribed to your channel, I will put a link for your channel after this video is done. I'll put it in the description of this video. But on one of your last videos, you talked about some of your frustrations with CGC. And now I don't know how familiar you are with my channel, but I have made it almost my point in life to bash CGC as many opportunities as I can get because they are constantly dropping the ball on so many things. But can we just talk a little bit first about like some
Sure.
of your most recent experience with them?
You, you're not going to do you're not going to do your sponsored by CGC like Squeaks does. Sponsored by CGC. So
CGC would like to burn this channel to the ground if they had an option.
let's CGC. All right, let's talk CGC. So I was very hopeful when CGC first came out. So like I said, I collect comics. So I've used CGC for years for comics.
Because they're the gold
I have
standard for grading
They're
comics,
the
just like
gold standard for grading comics.
sure.
Absolutely.
I'll agree with
Um,
that 100%.
so I when I started looking to grading cards and I started looking and the community was PSA and CGC. That was it.
Mhm.
And at the time, both were fully open, all tiers, all everything. The backlog wasn't even a thing. Like it was like there was rumors that like okay, like this is starting to take a little while to get this stuff back, but for all intents and purposes, everything was open full bore. And I was trying to make the decision about where to send. I had an initial like 200 card order of high-end stuff, gold stars, EXs, a lot of reverse foils from Legendary Collection, a lot of like really good old vintage modern stuff, high-end stuff. And I was trying to make the decision. Now, this was still when I was in a mode of like, do I sell my stuff? Do I invest in it? Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't really know what to do. So I was looking at the turnaround times and the cost basis to grade the cards. Now, everything's a learning experience. I did not dive deep into the price disparity between a CGC and a PSA and the equivalent grade. I saw there was a little bit of a price disparity, but I didn't really know it was
How
still. So we're
bad it
talking like
was.
how bad it was and how bad it was going to get.
Yeah,
Like that gap was just. And the other factor that nobody knew at the time. Nobody really knew how much harsher of a grader CGC is than PSA.
correct.
Um,
There was a little bit of whispers, but a lot of people originally were thinking they had that thought process in mind, like, nah, your
mhm,
card, you just don't know how to grade. And you thought all
sure.
because that's a common misconception you hear a lot of people say is when they're like, you think all your cards are tens, you know?
Right. Right.
And then it's very easy to push everybody away by just saying that, oh, you just think all your cards were a 10. That's why you got low grades.
hmm
But
So I sent this card order away and I got it back and I threw the whole order up on PWCC. So we'll just talk without going into so a couple highlights. I ended up pulling a Charizard Gold Star in a 9.5 and a Shining Charizard in a 9.5,
those are
which
two banger cards.
would have easily been PSA 10s now
Yeah.
looking back at it. And I didn't know about cracking and regrading, or sure shit would have cracked them and regraded them at the time.
Yeah.
But
That
so
gold star Charizard and PSA 10, you're talking 20 G's, man.
I didn't know. And I can go into my PWCC auction before. I think it only pulled in a 9.5. I think it only pulled 7,500 if I remember right.
Oh, that's
It
like
didn't
a
it did it
13
did
grand bath, man. It's rough.
The Shining Charizard did similar. I think it only pulled like 4,500. So out of all those cards, I totaled I'll just say I totaled $40,000 out of those
Mhm.
cards that I submitted. I was ecstatic, happy. It was great. It put me in a good position to number one, have capital to grade the rest of my cards, not have to worry about grading bills, which was huge for me. Um, I didn't give up anything that I didn't have a duplicate copy of. So I was happy, but the more I looked into it, I was not happy as the months and months went on.
Yeah.
It was a big, huge mistake. I wish I could have talked to somebody about something or just waited a little bit longer and done a little bit more research, but I chalked it up to a learning experience, whatever. I would never send high-end cards into CGC again. So I had a plan. I was like, that's right around the time when PSA was up. They upped, they raised their price, and then of the
So
next
the
week,
one
they
to when they raised from 10 to 20, you mean? Like that was only
Mhm,
like a 1 month timeline. Or are you
mhm.
talking when they jumped all the way up to like 600?
No, when they jumped from 10 to 20.
Okay.
So I had sent in two more CGC orders before I stopped sending CGC. And
Yep.
then when PSA made the announcement, I had like two or three in waiting. And then they made that announcement. I sent in another 2,500 cards into PSA over like two or three orders. So I have a good, I could just look it up real quick. I have it. I have the I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 orders in with PSA
We're
for
pretty
probably about
close.
a huh? What's that?
We're pretty close with how many orders we have in. I have close to 12. I think it's like 10. And
Yeah, so my last one was in March, obviously, like everyone. Um, and then my plan was, okay, I'm again not going to send a CGC, just going to wait. Like they promised, but right out of the gate, they said we'll reopen all tier levels by August or whatever it was. I think it was August.
yeah,
Everyone, yeah, no. So just started to, keep my cards and wait for a PSA. But then it really started to unfold about how much of a backlog we hit them with and how long it was really going to be before we got anything back from them. Um, and I just had more and more and more cards just piling up that I need to grade.
yeah,
And we're not talking like really, really cheap. Like, no, we're not talking like I'm not junk slab stuff. Like I'm not even talking modern.
yeah,
Like here's a stack just sitting right next to me. I mean, there's rares from Expedition.
yep,
Here's a Neo Genesis Typhlosion just chilling.
yeah.
Like
Is that T17 or?
T17, it's
Yep.
probably an 8 at least. Um uh what else we got? I mean, I just have stacks of stuff that's not even I just because I never really here's regional championship Venusaurs, just like random promos and stuff that I never really thought about grading back in the day. I have a ton of 99 2000 fourth print. It's not
Yep.
even though it's not anyway, a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff that like I started thinking about it and I was like, you know what? All right, let me take another look at CGC. Let me take another look at not the high end stuff, but what can we do with this? What can we do with CGC here?
See.
So I started to really closely monitor the PWCC eBay auctions and the disparity between PSA and CGC and equivalent graded cards. And I started to notice the gap closing. I
Yep.
started to notice the gap was closing. So I was like, okay, let's give them another shot. I'll send them stuff that I value under 500 bucks. So if it's better to get it in with a grading service than just sit here for the next 3 years and not have anything move.
Yeah.
Um,
I sent them a lot of stuff that was valued a little over $100 because I knew I wouldn't get upcharged through CGC. So I knew I could send everything to them through bulk and get in at $7 grading or 710 with the discount and then 820 with the discount. And I
mhm.
knew I could sneak some of those in. I knew I probably couldn't do that with PSA. So I did a little bit
Yeah,
of that too.
yeah, I did that too. That was a great idea. And at whatever it was, seven
Yeah.
whatever, even with
710,
the
720, something like that. Yeah.
yeah, it was a good deal. And I sent a bunch in. So I have let me pull CGC up. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 orders left at CGC.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
I've gotten
I don't envy
back
you on that one. That's
well, it's not I'm not going to do horrible because I know what I have there, but um I got back 3 recent big orders from CGC. And I'm a little bit different than a lot of people in that my cost of entry on my cards is virtually zero at this
oh,
point.
I
They're my
totally
cards from my
understand you.
collection. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is not. This is a lot harder of a decision for people who purchase cards looking to turn a small profit on them.
Yep. No,
Um,
I'm the same way. I've talked about that before, is where and I talk about this to everybody out there listening who might think about, picking up cards today and doing the whole grading game. It's like, keep in mind, you are going to be like racing to the bottom with price with literally people whose cost of entry might as well be zero. Well, obviously at some point you bought those cards for
Sure.
whatever, $4 a pack in 2006.
Sure.
Let's just say your cost of entry at this point is zero, like
Exactly. Right.
sure, we're gonna do semantics that you paid $4 for that
No.
pack a decade ago. No.
Um, so what I've seen is that I'm averaging on cards. So I made an Excel spreadsheet on every order I submit. I make a spreadsheet with my cost. I'll pull one of them up real quick.
Yeah,
Um,
you're better than me. I can't even like go back and see my older submissions because you can't go back past 6 months. And I wish I was like you and actually kept a little bit of a spreadsheet.
you can if you type the order number in.
Yeah, I saw that option where you have to like do something special. So
Yeah, there's a way. There's a way because there's a way to do it. Um, so yeah, so like I would list out the card, my cost raw, my cost to grade, giving you my break even cost,
mhm.
what I expect the grade to get, the last sold in that grade, my actual sale of the card, and
Oh,
the profit per card.
dude, now
I
I know
track.
why you're such a busy dude.
Yeah. It's actually fun. It's not as bad as it seems because like,
Yeah.
okay, so if I submit 300 cards and I owned them all,
Mhm.
cost raw is zero down the column.
Yeah,
Cost to grade 725. Like it's just copy and paste and drag down. But what
sure.
it lets me do is it lets me track my sales. So if I sell a card, I'll pop it in. I already have the formula set up. It'll automatically calculate my profit on the card.
That's awesome.
So I know, yeah, like I know if I paid $1,200 to grade this order, and the order of once I sell every card in the order, if I made 2,200, okay, I made $1,000 on that order.
Yep.
So of the 3 CGC orders I submitted, and we're talking, so I'll give you an idea of what the cards were. We're talking promo, Black Star promo Pichus, Dark Gyarados, Entei promo Entei. First,
So
so the,
the pre-release Gyarados are you talking about or just
yep,
okay?
yep, Dark Gyarados, the pre-release one. The first three Nintendo promos, the Torchic, well, not the first three, number 7, 8, and 10, I believe, Torchic, Mudkip, and Tricos.
Mm-hmm.
I had some of the Kyogre number ones in there too. And then I had a huge order of mixed level X's, Delta species reverse foils, stuff from Mid-Air reverse foils, a bunch of first edition Blaine's Charmanders, Lieutenant Surge's Pikachus, the
More
foiled
of that
Professor.
bulky stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep, a lot of bulky stuff, a lot of secret wonders, foils, and a lot of stuff that got anywhere between 8 and 8.5, 9, 9.5. No, obviously no tens because they don't
yeah.
exist.
I actually
Um,
really like Secret Wonders. You never see that Secret Wonders Charizard ever come up either.
it's a cool card.
Yeah, and I like it a lot.
And then the other order was just a bunch of Expedition and Quapolis, more popular Pokemon. So I sent in like Snorlax, Lapras,
Mhm.
Eevee, Croconaw, Charmander, Cyndaquil, all the starters, right? So I made, now again, cost of entry is zero. My average cost per card that I sold once you got down to it was $29 was the average sale cost per card.
Yep.
So now
After shipping,
great.
you're talking a little over $20 a card profit.
About that, slightly more, take out the outliers, the mean. I net it slightly more than I would have if I sold them raw.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the raw sale, the average raw sale prices per card, I netted about, I did the math, about $7 more grading them than if I were to have sold them raw.
Sure.
But I didn't pay for the cards.
Yeah. So
So
it's
this is
worth
the
it. Yeah,
realization.
I'm in the same. I'm in the same boat, and I have the same exact thought process you do. That it might be easier in the short term to sell them raw, but yeah, you grade them like that extra $7 adds up when you're talking
It
about a
does.
thousand cards. You know?
Exactly. That was my thought process. Exactly. Why,
Yeah.
right. So, um, but I don't think that I used to think that this would be now this was at 7 whatever a card.
Mhm.
Switch over to
Did
what
you
it
do
is
any?
now.
I should have asked. Did you do any subgrades, or did you just do the straight grades?
Just did the straight grades.
Yeah.
Once they raised the prices for subgrades, I was like, nah, we're done. I'm done with
Yep.
those. Um, and now obviously it's 12.75 to grade a card with discount. It's 12.75 to grade a card with discount now.
It's like $25 with subgrades, not including discounts.
Mhm. It's insane. You're
no,
not gonna.
no, yeah,
So I have some orders that I actually am worried about. So the other thing I would do recently is I would use Bai and I would buy large collections of Japanese foils. And Bai's a mixed bag about what you get condition wise. So
yeah.
I sent
I don't know buy very well. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I don't buy off of there because it's a
it's
Japanese.
yeah, it's interesting. It's fun. And you get some really good deals off Bai. You really can. So I have a couple orders that I did. My cost of entry on the card is actually more like um $6-7 a card, $5-6-7 a card when you average it out.
Yep.
So there's a couple orders where I'm actually worried about breaking even on some of these CGC orders now.
Yeah.
Now seeing what the market's doing.
Yeah.
So I guess the moral of that story is I've already had a bad taste in my mouth about CGC with the harshness on the grading. My history with just them not pulling what their PSA equivalent counterparts do. And then that led to recently, just like you had the experience where so I got back recently three CGC orders. Those orders were entered. Those orders were entered and entered. The orders were sent to CGC, received in March.
Okay.
I got those back in my hands in November. Okay. They were in the grading phase at CGC from probably early November to late November. It took them a month. So 3 orders popped into grading phase just about the same time in March.
Yeah.
From March in November, early November, they popped into grading. Took them 1 month to pop 3 orders out. Then you tell me why I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 orders going from July all the way through into September 7th, all enter grading within 3 days of each other.
Yep. And I had my June 24th submission that was received and my August 3rd submission received, both charged to me on the same day.
Yeah.
So,
see, that's such bullshit because they are supposed to only charge you when they're grading your order.
Yep.
There is no way you people are grading 4 months of orders at the same time unless you have all of the Willy Wonka chocolate factory
Oompa
Oompa
Loompas.
Loompas great. Yeah, you're just not doing it.
Yeah.
You guys pulled some shenanigans to try and get your Q4 profit numbers up
Right before the end of the year. And it hit like,
the end of the year.
It was like December 23rd, I think I got charged, you know, it was like right before Christmas too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So like again, I'm not as mad about it as I should be because I do have I do have the capital for these when the fees come in.
Yep.
But that is not what I had planned on at all. I had planned on getting these a couple a month and then having some time to sell some of these cards.
That totally makes sense. I mean, that's the same way I do it too. But now this is what I told you before we started the stream. I had 2 things happen to me. So I had, you know how when you submit like, well, you don't do subgrades, but when you submit like one order and they split it up, the subgrade order and the one without subgrades. So they charged both of my orders for subgrades. And then one of the orders, they charged me with the current today's pricing for subgrades when I was at the lower tier pricing. So
snap.
I had to call up CGC and I had to like talk to both their accounting department and I had to talk to the customer service because the accounting was like, nope, they gave you subgrades on this. Like your cards have already been graded. So then I had to call customer service. They had to pull my original packing slip. I guess they must like do a photocopy of it or something, but it took the lady a little while to get the original packing slip. And then she was like, oh, yes, we do see that you did not have subgrades. So I will credit your account that much money. I was like, no, no,
Wow.
no. I don't want you to credit my account. I want that money back on my credit card.
Back.
Because in my head, I was like, I am never grading with CGC ever again. So
Yeah.
then I had to get refunded on my credit card for like the correct prices for the subgrades. And then I had to get refunded for all the subgrades on the other one. Then when they finally did ship out my order, I went and I looked at the individual cards. The subgrades are still in there. So this means one or two things is going to happen. One, they didn't catch it before the cards were slabbed. So they're going to all have subgrades, and they're going to be
That's my
some
guess.
really bulky type cards of subgrades, which will be awesome for resale. Or number two, they were able to catch it fast enough where it's just going to be the grade, but my CGC submission or whatever is going to show the subgrades, but the slab won't. So I am interested if that happens.
Oh, that would be interesting.
And then if that happens, I will take a bunch of those cards and I will send them away to a lot of people in this hobby. Like I'll send one to you. Maybe we'll send one to like Jake from Pokenomics. We'll send them to different people and I'll say, you guys have all graded cards in the past. I have what the subgrades of these cards are, and I'll, have my packing slip and I'll say, I want you guys to grade this card for me and tell me how you would grade it.
Oh,
Because
that would be fun.
I think it's very easy to be blinded by those subgrades because you're going to look over and say, oh, okay, this got a 9.5, this got an 8, the surface. And I'll be very interested to see how other people grade that card,
That would be
I-
a cool experiment.
and I
Yeah.
think it would make an awesome video too. Now, who knows? Maybe I did just get super lucky, like I said, and they're going to have subgrades and I just wasn't charged for them. But yeah, but like, yeah, that is something good that happened, but I am still not happy with CGC. The fact that I had to go
No.
through their accounting and customer service for that. And my August submission, who knows when I get that one back. But I'm
I,
done after this. I am done with CGC.
I am too. I really am. And
Well, it's
I
a
really
double-edged, Joe, it's a double-edged sword. So one, CGC of equivalent grades sell for less. And
they
then
do.
number two, they grade harsher. So it's
Yeah.
like you get hit twice.
Yeah, it's true. The only I was thinking about what could be it would be more useful if they were faster. Like if CGC had almost a less turnaround time. What would be neat is that for 1275 you could pre-grade some of your like cards that you expect to see if they get like a PSA 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So like, hey, CGC, pre-grade this for me. And if it's getting a CGC 9.5, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'll crack it and I'll send it to I'm gonna send that to PSA
Yeah.
with confidence.
Well, I kind of have already done that in a way accidentally. I didn't do it on purpose. There was a couple cards I sent to CGC that graded much lower than I expected. And I'm like,
Oh,
"Ah, I have to resubmit this to PSA. Like, I cannot sell this card at an 8.5 because even if I were to resubmit it to PSA and get a 9 or a 10 potentially, not all 8.5s are going to transfer over to 10. Like, that is a lie.
no,
But
that's
let's just say it does go to a 9. The price difference between some of my mid-tier higher end ish cards from an 8.5 CGC to a PSA 9, you're talking hundreds of dollars,
I
almost
know.
as much money to literally make it worth it to send it at $100, which I'm not, because then you eat up
Right.
all your profit.
Yeah, a lot of this makes a lot more sense once $50 opens back up.
Yeah.
Um,
Or I think like $30 is realistic by the end of the year, stuff like that, where there's, and I talked about this on other videos, and you could let me know what you think. Like for sports cards, like there's a lot of cards out there, maybe worth it to send at $100. But when you talk about Pokemon, you just
yeah,
cut so much cards out of the relative realm of
you
being
do.
possible.
You do. You got to really have a lot of the higher end cards. I always say I'm not going to give them more than 10% the value of my cards. So
Yeah.
you're looking at $1,000 and above cards, and there are more of those coming into existence. Like some of your mid-era EXs are starting to grade, and tens are starting to sell for
Level
a couple.
X's, you said you got a lot of
Yeah,
level X's. Those things have creeped up like crazy in the last
I
couple
do.
of months.
I do. So there's some cards I am looking to send at $100. but it's not what I really wanted to do with my collection. A lot of that stuff, I'll be honest with you, I haven't even gone through and looked at what I have duplicates of and what I don't for
Yeah.
my stuff, my
Before we
personal.
started this stream, I don't want to blow up your spot, but you showed me just how much Skyridge bulk you have, and
Oh yeah, let me
that's
pull it out. So
I'm a little jealous about that.
this is full. This is Skyridge
800
commons
count
and
boxes,
uncommons.
right?
Yeah, these are Skyridge commons and uncommons.
I just got like chills.
What we got here?
Let's talk.
So there's a Growlithe.
Yep, Growl, that's a great card. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't, but yeah. So like I think like a lot of these, like yeah, there's whitening on some of the corners, but I'd say at least nines on a lot of this, if not tens on some of it. Um, what the hell do you do with an 800 count box of Skyridge? Like, I'm not going to sell this stuff raw. I mean, I'm not like I I'm not going to send it to CGC. I'm not going to send it in at $50 a card. It's going to have to be 30 or less a card. But I feel that
Maybe you
a
should
lot of
just sell them
these,
all to me. Think of a price if you want to sell it all bulk. Just think of a price in your head,
maybe.
however,
All right.
thousands of dollars, and just throw me a price, and we'll make a video about it. It'll be my
Okay.
Skyridge collection buy. We will think about it. Don't hit me right away, but think about it.
Okay. I'll think about it. I'll think about it because I mean, it's either that or my grandkids are going to be grading
No,
it.
no, no. I'll be the one grading it, but yeah, we'll talk about it after the stream. I think that will have to be a buy I might have to make
Okay.
because this is the thing. Well, no, I don't want to tell you my thought process. Those are the worst cards ever. You should sell them because you don't
Oh
want
yes, they're
them.
horrible. They're
No,
horrible.
no, no. Yeah, but
The only reason I have so many is because I got a case of it when it from that fan appreciation tournament. I got a case of it as prize support. I opened so much Skyridge, I got sick of opening Skyridge. I was like, I fucking don't want to see any more of this set. I'm so tired of opening this set.
yeah,
Um, but what you have to understand, this is so here's a little bit of insight. Nobody wanted Skyridge when it came out. I'll tell you why. Um, there was huge rumors that Nintendo was gonna cut all the Wizards of the Coast sets out of organized play.
oh, okay,
So the rumor was is that Nintendo, and they pumped this rumor so they could sell their own shit too. They circulated the rumor that we're not going to allow any Wizard sets in organized play because they were competing at the same month with Skyridge. So they wanted people to go buy Ruby and Sapphire.
sure.
Um, Turns out that obviously never happened, but nobody bought Skyridge because everyone was like,
How was the playability of Skyridge? Like that's a question I
"Oh, it
would
was
never be able to answer.
it was it was a mediocre. So
I was gonna
Oracle,
say the oracles, and they had a lot of different trainers in that. Like,
most of there were no real Pokemon that made an impact on the format. Mostly just trainers.
okay,
Um,
and all
yeah, there
those
was
the what are they called? The miracles
yeah the
spirits.
Miracle Spheres. Nobody played those. That
There's a
was
lot
that
of those different ones, and I have no clue like the different
there
ones.
were. Well, hold on, I can tell you. I
I
can. So
I could
that's a
tell you
question.
I have them all, but
That's a question where if I'm gonna actually have to look at the Pokemon in the set in order to tell you.
and I know like I think the fisherman's in there too.
Gengar made some play. Machamp made some play. Politoed made some play because this Politoed was the first Pokemon ever with 3 attacks, which I thought was
Yep,
cool back in the time.
yeah. That's
Raikou,
that's one of my favorite Politoed hollows, actually.
it is cool.
Yeah. What number is
Um,
that? Is that like number 32 or something? Or
it is 23.
23. Oh, okay.
I have 3 of them. Um,
I have I opened one of those so I did a video on my channel where I like resealed some packs and like I opened them up as if they came from a modern tin. You got to go back and watch that
oh,
video.
I will. That's cool.
But I was like, oh, I think this is a hollow, and that was the Polytoad I pulled out of the pack. Was that
That's funny. That's
Skyridge
cool.
hollow?
But that's really it for Pokemon. And then let's go. So trainers, um, you had Fisherman, which was a way to grab crap from the discard pile. So that was big on
Yeah,
impact.
that's what I was thinking.
Fastball, because it was a
Oh, fastball.
non-supporter. Um, None of the miracle anythings made play.
What about like the rainbow energies? Did you use any of that stuff or no?
Cyclone, so it was bounce, cyclone, and retro energy. Cyclone was the only one of those that actually saw any play. Underground expedition saw some play because it lets you look at the bottom of your deck. There was some stuff that cycled stuff specifically to the bottom of your deck. And then Oracle was the big card in the set. Believe it or not, a trainer card was the big
That
card in the set.
Oracle, that artwork too. I guess you call it like a wizard card or whatever.
Yep.
Like I really like that artwork, and especially
Yeah.
the way he's standing. Does he
Yeah.
have a staff in his hand and like an orb in the other?
He does. He has a
Yeah,
staff. I know that. Let me see.
that is one of the more badass trainer card artworks like ever produced.
And it has Umbreon.
Where-
Umbreon is chilling right
Oh
there.
yeah,
next
right there.
to
Yeah,
him.
he's got the orb glowing. Yeah, that is a awesome trainer artwork.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And Umbreon obviously being a huge fan favorite.
Yep. But that was it. Nobody wanted to buy it back in the day. I mean, there were fewer people collected Pokemon just exclusively for the artwork than do today. It was,
Yeah.
what can I play in my deck? It was a cool looking set, but you could buy it in like Target. Like it wasn't that big a deal. Like the crystals were awesome. Yeah, okay, Crystal Charizard. The crystals were the chase cards too, obviously. But as far as what was playable,
but even those weren't like, well, now they're not even super, like the golems in there. Like people always pass on the golem. You got the Ho-Ho in there. The Crystal Kabutops is in there. The Crystal Charizard, obviously, and then the Crystal Crobat. Like, when you think about fan favorite Pokemon, like Golem really isn't. Crobat's not. Ho-Ho kind of, but when you talk about legendary birds, like he's probably most people's third favorite for the original three, like the Zapdos, Articuno, Ho-Ho. He's probably like number 3, even though he's on like the pack artwork of Skyridge, you know, like.
Yeah, you're right.
And then,
no, you're right. The crystal cards are still one of my favorite. The crystal cards are still one of my favorite gimmicks.
Yeah, and especially like the Crystal Lugia from.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, from Aquapolis, like that card.
It is. It does. It is a beautiful card. I remember seeing them, and I was like, "This is something special." Like, like they're. My favorite cards are the crystals. I would say the gold stars, and then the shinings.
Yeah,
the original shinings. Like they're just some of the most. I just remember seeing them. Nothing, in my opinion, nothing since the gold stars have hit the same. They just haven't. They've not struck that again. I have, and this is like, I'm looking at it from this perspective. Everyone likes gold stars, right? Everyone likes crystals. Everyone likes shinings. I have the same feeling I have the same feeling today as I did the day I saw it the first time on those 3 types of cards. That seeing all the new stuff for the first time, like first time I saw a modern rainbow, first time I saw a modern gold card, a rainbow rare.
But it's different when you feel modern cards too, with the texture and everything. It is a little different.
It's different, but even had like I have a lot of modern. I bought a lot of it, and seeing so I do like, these are the closest I would, for me personally, that I have come to the same type of feeling, but it doesn't quite capture it either, and that's the gold bordered cards from the plasma sets. So the gold bordered secret rares from the plasma sets.
Yeah, those secret rares get slept on a lot too.
They do.
Because they're not big name Pokemon. That's why.
Right. That's I think if they had done those in slightly different types of like different characters.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the chase cards overshadow those, and like how are they numbered too? Are they numbered like S?
They're post numbered.
Oh, they are, okay.
Yeah. But I did a whole video on my rant on modern, and nothing really hits for me the same way that a lot of that stuff did back then.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what it is. It's hard to put a real quantitative measurement on why that is. A lot of it's psychological, varies person to person. All I know, it's kind of like, you ever hear like
It's a lot of it's easy to identify, recognizable too. Like the backstory of that card, where it came from. You remember it. You could remember a point in time that card was important. I think.
true, but I find it funny how the people today who have never seen those cards still look at those cards and are still wowed by them.
Yeah.
Like they're still to this day held up as like the Da Vinci's of the cards that we've gotten so far up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they've yet to replicate that in modern. I don't think any of the sets, I don't think any of the chase rares today are going to hold the same level of prestige that those cards are going to 5-10 years from now. Those cards are, unless
They won't. They'll
I
be
hope
in a different category. But it's weird too, because when you look at those cards and you look at the prices and you look at how they grew organically in a way, like people were able to pull them, people were able to buy them, people were able to collect them if you really want it. Like we're modern now. There's so much built into every modern card, so much hype, so much price, all this stuff. It almost makes it not as fun in a way too. And when you think about it, the pull rates for modern cards opposed to some of those older cards, the pull rates make it not fun. Like the average person, especially when it comes to kids and stuff in this hobby, there's not
it's
a lot
true.
of kids are going to be able to open 400 packs or whatever to complete a master set, or 500 packs. It's
So interesting on that. So Danny Phantom just did a video where he looked at the breakdown. He opened 54 boxes, I'm assuming for his store, of Evolving Skies. And he did the break, basically, can you profit by opening a box and selling the contents? And he had a sample pool of 54. He broke down when he pulled
was it at release he broke it down and sold,
he,
or these prices
yep.
like today?
So what he did was he broke it down at release, but he recorded the contents of every pack as he was doing it.
Okay.
So he has the data from them, but then he transposed it to today's prices, which was
Gotcha.
really cool because it's like he
I
didn't have to
bet you,
rip.
yeah, see that price drop real nice, which
It was a huge price drop, but the most baffling thing I took from that video is he opened 54 boxes and did not get a master set by just
that's
cracking packs.
that's
I was like,
insane.
get the hell out of here.
Yeah, like that
It
is
made me
insane.
discouraged me instantly from wanting to go to Target to buy packs of Evolving Skies. I'm like, you never had that back in the day. You could open a master set.
Yeah.
Like, yo, Expedition. So I was looking at this today. Everyone likes to think that the 200 card set is a new thing, but what people forget is Expedition was a 165 card set, but Expedition started their holograms H1 through H32.
Same thing with Skyridge, yeah.
Same thing with Skyridge.
And Aquapolis, yeah.
So it's actually almost a 200 card set.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually almost a 200 card set.
Yep.
And I completed a master set of Expedition by opening a case.
Mm-hmm.
6 boxes.
6 boxes, yeah.
Almost the full reverse foil set too, if I remember right.
Yeah, now
So
I could go into a thing about like reverse hollows where like you can kind of make the argument where reverse hollows might be rarer than the hollows, because
yeah,
when you how many hollows in Skyridge, like 32 or something?
let's say 32 for sake of argument.
Yeah. So, but then how many cards are in Skyridge in general? 122 cards or whatever? 144 cards. It's a big set. You could just look at the
100,
bottom.
144.
I was right with my second guess. I said 122, 144. I couldn't remember which one. But so now you got 144 of those cards. So you have 144 reverse hollows. Now,
True.
your chance, so like per booster box, you're probably going to pull like 12 hollows and then maybe some of the crystals. So it only takes you 3 booster box to pull, hypothetically, assuming you pull 1 of every hollow, 3 booster box to complete all the hollows. But to complete 144 reverse hollows, now you just like talking cases. So that's why
exactly
the argument that those are actually rarer now. Where we wind up with that kind of stuff in the long term, who knows? And the thing too is when I think about conditions and stuff for cards, probably more likely than not, somebody was not handling their reverse hollow, which was just bulk for Skyridge, the same way they were handling the hollows, assuming that they were still, sleeving them up, put them in their binder. The reverse hollow probably didn't make it to the binder. Does that
I
make
can
sense?
I can absolutely tell you with certainty a few things. Number one, nobody was handling those with care.
Yeah.
Nobody was very. If I was not penny sleeving my cards. No one I knew penny sleeved their cards. No one, unless it was like a freaking trophy card. No one penny sleeved their cards. That you're lucky if you get somebody that bindered them and didn't play them. You're lucky. I absolutely am of the same mindset and same opinion that um reverse foils are way harder than normal any other card to pull and complete a setup. I opened a case of Skyridge. I have the master set, not including the reverse foils, many times over. 6 boxes did not net me a full reverse foil set. I still needed to trade with my friends to complete that reverse foil set. I remember having to
Were
do
you
it.
able to pull like the Pikachu or anything? I just bought a Pikachu. I have a couple, but I just bought one recently. Like I got in a little bit of a bidding war and I was like pretty bummed out I bought it.
Oh, really? It's a cool card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I already have it and I have them in better
Oh,
condition. And it was on the same PWCC auction block that I won all year, PSA 9.
yep.
Skyridge.
I remember.
Thank
Yep.
you for those. But I
You're
got
welcome.
I got caught in a bit in action for CGC 7.5 reverse hollow Pikachu. I ended up paying $58 for it. So I was a little bummed out by that. But
I have two, I think, and I remember when I saw how much that card was worth, I went and I looked at the two I have. One of them is damn near perfect. It
yeah,
is it is it
I just
it's one
lost
I would
out on
send
a
in.
PSA 9. I think I lost out. I think I bid like 255 in it. I forget what it sold for, but the PSA 10s, you're talking like $600-700. Like it increases real fast.
Yeah. I don't think that's unreasonable for that card in that condition.
Yeah.
Being it's Pikachu, and it's probably one of the hardest English Pikachus to get. You're if you don't have it, where are you going to get it? Where are you going to get it? I mean, I'm a vintage
It's
collector. I
it's like
have
that weird claymation Pikachu though.
yeah, yeah,
But I do
it's not
like
the
the
cool.
the blue background though, like the blue sky background. It is a nice Pikachu, but it's
It
definitely
is.
not the best. But
No, it's not the best artwork, but it's one of the harder rarities. It's one of the
yeah,
harder pieces to have in your collection.
sure.
In a high grade anyway.
and
Which is
and
why.
not to give away too many of my things I've been doing, but like I get nervous when I talk about things I'm buying. Like I get all antsy because I don't want anyone to know. But like reverse hollows, Skyridge is a big thing that I'm currently like. Well, I've been, but I now have literally booster boxes worth of reverse hollows. When you think about
Wow.
that, and you think about how much money it costs to buy a Skyridge booster box right now, and I
What is it
have
up to?
booster. I
It's
I
a
mean,
lot.
TCA just posted one for 79,000, which is way over. But I would say like maybe they would sell all day at like
60.
40, 50. Yeah. But
Yeah.
still, you have $50,000 for a booster box. And yeah, there's the hollows in it. But when I could tell you I have booster boxes worth of reverse hollows, I'm just like, eventually the market's got to get to this stuff. And that's what
It
I'm
will.
a strong believer.
Um, Transitioning from reverse house and second to the stamped ones too. I've noticed since I've gotten back, there are a lot of reversed stamped foil collectors, a lot of them. Um, I ran auctions on Verbank for raw, like raw card auctions of like I would throw up 40 EX Deoxys reverse foils,
Yeah.
and people were bidding like over top of each other in order to get those reverse
Be,
foils.
because they're in a way some sets like Deoxys is a good example. You could make the argument now, and now this is an argument you'll probably lose because people are stubborn, but they're better than the hollows.
Oh, I
And
would agree.
if they didn't have the stamp on it, there's a lot of, like it took me a little while where I would be picking up some cards and I'd be like, I really like this hollow. And then I say, oh,
Yep.
wait, this is a reverse hollow,
It's
but
the
this, because
exactly. Yep.
those reverse hollows have like energy symbols in the background, like the hollow
The
foils better in them. Like they're
the
literally better than the hollows.
the one
But
I
people
really
will
like.
never say that.
but you're right, and it's an argument I would make too. And we thought that when they came out, Team Rocket Returns, the reverse foil has the name in, like, for the holograms, only the holograms 1 through 30.
Yep.
The reverse foil
the
has the
Tyranitar
yellow,
reverse hollow, the dark Tyranitar. Oh,
I know. It's
yeah,
so
man,
cool.
that is an awesome card.
And I remember opening it, like, everyone, like, we're looking at each other like, this card's cooler than the regular one. Like, what are they doing here? Like, it looks better.
Yeah.
So, like, there are definitely a lot of those mid-EX era sets where, yeah, the reverse foils are cooler. They went and they ran through doing the stamps up until, I believe,
Crystal
Crystal Guardians had, that was a stamp set.
Yep.
Dragon Frontiers, I believe, was no, Power Keepers was also. I guess Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl was the first set that they stopped. They stopped stamping.
I could probably tell you if I really think hard.
But I think about it for a second. My point though is that Diamond and Pearl was when they switched the reverse foil pattern to like that sheen, where the whole card has the sheen.
Yep.
Now those onward, I can sort of understand why people, because the consensus when those were released was, this is a step backwards. These are not as cool.
The quality is different too in them.
It is.
It's not the same. Like, maybe it's a card stock they changed from or whatever, but it's different. Yeah. Now,
Sans from the chat.
Oh. Have you seen any good questions in the chat?
I haven't really been looking. I saw Basic throw some stuff up.
Hey guys, we haven't really been following the chat, but if you have any questions for me, or definitely for Echo, because Echo's got a lot of knowledge when it comes to a lot of different cards, feel free to shoot out your questions.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, because it's very easy to just find yourself going off on tangents and just having conversations. But
yeah,
I was saying in my last video, Echo, is one of the things I've been trying to do, and at least my New Year's resolution, I do want to have more people on my channel. I want to like open up the conversation. I want to try to build like as much of a community as I can around this channel, because I think that's what makes this hobby really the best, is that community aspect of it. So
that's what I'm enjoying the most about it. I started my channel for various reasons. One of it was, there's no league. I can't go talk to anyone about this stuff. This is all we got.
So Fresh Tat kind of leads into that. He asked if you play the trading card game online at all.
So interestingly, here's some code cards. The trading card game online was in its ultimate infancy when I left the hobby, however long ago.
You left at Heart Gold Soul Silver, so there's a lot of those, like, they just switched over, and there was still some of those like Heart Gold Soul Silver energy cards and stuff, the nice ones with the backgrounds and stuff.
Yep.
Everybody lost those, I heard.
Yeah. So I went through recently off of TCG Player and bought 100 code cards for every Sword and Shield set. And I'm about halfway through entering them all in on the app. And then, yes, I fully intend to start building decks out and playing online, with the anticipation of when organized play opens back up, I'm fully going to go back, run league again, judge again, do in-person play. So I do fully intend to submerge myself again back into play too, because as fun as it is collecting, like and I would encourage anybody who's just a collector for the art value to actually go through and learn how to play the game. If you've never done it and you don't know how to do it, do it, because you will start to get a whole new level of appreciation of a lot of the cards than you do now. You're not going to chase it. It's a whole different experience. If you have a card you like, a favorite character, for me it's Torterra followed by Aggron.
Oh, wow. You don't hear a lot of people say Aggron.
Nope, you don't. Aggron's one of my favorites. He's my second favorite.
Or Torterra, because he's really like one of the worst.
Dude, so I had this made for me back in the Poke Gym days.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? That's actually your...
It is. This is what I use. Yep.
Yeah,
it's just a play mat. Yep. Yeah. So I had this handmade, hand drawn for me. It was one back before playmats were really a thing. You couldn't just get them very easily.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've always liked Torterra. But it's a lot more fulfilling and satisfying to build decks with characters you like,
Yeah.
and to like find like cool combos and like actually go and play people, your friends, other people, and actually start winning with those with your favorite cards. Um, when you look through a binder of cards, you'll start to see different things other than just the artwork,
Yeah.
and it makes the connection more rich for you too.
Or even things that pique your interest where you're like, I wonder how that card works, and you're just like,
Yep, yep. Um, See, the same thing happened with me with Magic. I played Magic the Gathering, as I was telling while you were away. For a long time, I played Magic. And for me, it started with just the artwork. And
I
then,
never played Magic. I was always too intimidated by Magic when I was a kid. And then when I got older, I never was able to make that transition.
well, the transition was easy for me because here's what happened. I moved out of college, or came home from college, moved into a house with a bunch of my friends, half of which played Pokemon, and we started a D&D game. We invited another half of our friends that did not play Pokemon, but they played Magic. So at the
Mhm.
end of the D&D, and at the end of the night, everyone was just sitting around and they whip out their decks and just start casually playing with each other.
Yep.
So it just was an easy transition to like, well, and if I want to be in the group and play with people, I want to learn how to
Yeah.
play this game.
I could see how that would be so much fun.
But it was a safe environment because they were just friends. So you
Yeah.
could build really weird decks that like they didn't have to be tournament winning, tournament worthy, but like I
Sure.
love Lord of the Rings. We all love Lord of the Rings. Like, so if you make an elf deck, it's neat, it's fun. You learn how to play,
Yep.
and the more you learn. But here's the other thing that caught me with Magic was not that this is a Pokemon topic and channel. I know that, but Magic has novels written around it. So at the time, every every block of Magic was 3 sets,
Yep.
and the 3 sets were a plane of existence. A plane is like a planet, and you can travel the different planes as a planeswalker in Magic. So like I can, if your spark is ignited and you warp yourself into another plane of existence, it's a whole different world that you're on. Every one of those worlds is broken down into 3 blocks of cards that sequentially tell a story. Well, there's novels that are written about that too. So you can buy
Like around the game. Yeah. That's
around the
interesting.
game. If you read the novels, you start to learn who the planeswalkers are and the characters. You get invested. Like you just read this story, and then you look at the card artwork and you're like, holy shit, the picture on the card is right out of the book. The
Yeah.
flavor text is right out of a scene in the book. It ties it all together, and it enriches the environment, it enriches it for you, so that you get, when you're playing it, you feel like you're there a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which is why I encourage people, for Pokemon, watch the anime.
Yeah.
Play the
Watched
play.
I've watched a lot of it, even more than I want to be willing to admit.
I haven't
But
watched. What's the new one? What's the new one that's out right now? It's like
I don't know. I watch it on like my Infinite Xfinity. Like I just click whatever's on like Netflix or Amazon Prime. There's a bunch of stuff on different things, but I don't know. I'm guessing Sword and Shield is a new one.
no, well, there's like a retelling. There's like a new like adult styled one. Like
Oh,
instead of Ash, it's red. It's red, and
oh, I don't
it's
know.
not. Yeah, it's really cool. I can't remember
I
what it's called,
I
but
saw the remake where they did like a red and blue, like from
yeah, that's
like a real, but that came out a couple years ago. Uh, so we got a good question. I don't know. I'll ask you if you want to even start tackling this because this will be a long one. But Blaze OP asks, what are your thoughts on the Logan Paul fake case? You want
fake.
to, yeah, you
So
want
fake. I've watched every one of Rattle's videos. I'm
dude,
over here like Michael
Rattle.
Jackson, dude.
Rattle is awesome. He is one of the most underrated channels, and I'm so happy that Rattle is finally getting the respect that he's deserved for a long time. And I'm very happy that I kind of reached out to Rattle before his channel really popped off, and he is going to be on this channel eventually. And
Oh, cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be
that's
neat.
gonna be a lot of fun. But right now, I think he just has a real lot going on with everything. And then I just recently, like it's currently in the mail. It should be getting to him soon. I just sent him a package with some resealed cards in it because uh, Rattle had said in one of his videos that he believed that it was very easy to tell resealed packs. So I sent him a resealed pack, And I sent him one real
Oh,
one fake one in blisters, like the single pack check lane blisters. And I want to see if he could figure it out
interesting. That'd
because
be
I
cool.
think they're easier to reseal than maybe even he thinks. And like the blister I sent him, so I sent him like just super modern Evolving Skies blisters. They have slow the slow poke blister and then the EV single pack blisters. And one of them will be very easy to tell which blister is resealed, but the packs inside, I think he's going to have a lot of trouble.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Be a cool
So,
video to see.
but anyways, he's done a great job.
Yes,
And
he has. And it's been Michael Jackson with the popcorn watching this whole thing unfold.
did you
That
watch the
box,
Pokejew's most recent Instagram live he did?
no, I don't I follow him on Instagram, but I don't watch any of his stuff. I don't really
Yeah.
like him that much.
Yeah. So
Um,
he did an Instagram live and he talked about like what he thought. And it was weird. Like he wasn't answering questions from the chat. Kind of. He was more just, it was more like an interview style. And then Gary King Pokemon came on and it was a lot of like, it came off weird for a lot of reasons. And one of the big reasons was like Gary King
is this
Pokemon.
hold on, is this the thing where all the memes are being made of now with the four people and like one of them is
Uh,
people are
the
making memes out of
the
this.
Lonely Island Boys or
Island
whatever.
Boys? Okay, now I
Yeah.
know.
So that's
Okay,
where it came from.
that's where
So
it comes from. Okay.
I did notice, and it was like very dangerous to me, is like Gary King Pokemon came on, and he wasn't planned to be on, but like they gave him the invite, and he would say stuff like, "Yeah, my sealed cases didn't have like not all sealed cases had the first edition stamp on it, but some of them did," and what he meant by that was like some of those older cases would have first edition boxes in it, but they wouldn't have like the edition one. But he was mainly talking about Jungle and Fossil. But when the Pokeju was listening to him, you can tell, like watching his expressions, he was only literally hearing what he wanted to. So he was like, "Oh, there we go." Like even
Oh,
Gary King Pokemon just said like
no.
not all first or some first edition boxes did have the
Case.
E1. And then Gary was like, no, let me backtrack. I can't remember if any of my base set ones had that E1 on it.
He
But like Michael kept only hearing what he wanted. And then, so Gary King Pokemon was actually doing a good job of retracing a lot of things he said and like
wow, good.
making it very clear to Michael the Pokechew, like, no, I don't remember if my base set sealed case, because I guess what King Pokemon said was he ended up having 3 sealed first edition cases at one point. He
It's insane.
cracked 2, opened all the boxes, and then the one he still has, he
Yes,
cracked it
half opened.
halfway, and just
Yeah,
to verify the contents. Now,
right.
I'm sure his is real. Like, there's trust me, when he was buying
It's
those
real.
things, people weren't faking cases at
No,
that point. Like, we were
no.
far from that. But it's one of those things where when every single thing that could be wrong is
It's
wrong. And
wrong.
now one of the things that I was hoping Rattle would talk about, have you ever had somebody ship you a case in the mail and just slap a label, like a shipping label right on the case itself?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
and think about when that box like arrives on your front porch,
it's
it is
damaged.
it's damaged and it looks exactly like that other box. Like
Oh yeah.
all they would have had to do was fake the box was to ship it. Now, he had talked about like the heated label. Now, if you've ever had a sealed case, and what you will normally do is slap the shipping label right over the label that's already on there, right? Because
Right.
you want to block it out. And if you've ever peeled off that label, that like heat label looks like it's a million years old.
Oh, okay.
So what Rattle did in his video was he took nail polish remover
Acetone. Yeah.
and he removed like the numbers. But what he should have did was all you have to do is take tape to those, and you take tape and you just blot it like that,
Oh,
and it ages like 100 years overnight. But what you can't
interesting.
do is you can't age it with the yellowing of the paper. And like that's what he didn't talk about enough in his video. He talked about how the letters and the typing was very obviously, and he talked about it as potentially being like printed, and I don't think it was. I think it was new. but he didn't talk about the yellowing of the paper enough. And I do wish, because these are things I noticed, I was like, dude, that paper yellows. And all the boxes he was talking about using as examples, you can see that yellowing. But the label on Logan Paul's first edition box has a very strong white tone to it.
Yeah, the label. It doesn't even look like the same label.
No,
It's completely different than the box color. Yeah, it's so obvious.
it doesn't. But so now, and I wish he did this. And this is so like I don't resale packs to sell, but I resale packs to like do them as like educational videos for people, like kind of what to look for. And as bad as it is to say, the only way you could understand what to look for resale packs is you have to do it yourself. And it's like creating a monster kind of like thing where you need to know what to look for. That's the only way I could explain to people is you need to know what to look for. Now, if you were that person and you had to put yourself in the position of a scammer, how would you have created that sealed case to be fake? You would have just Google search images of,
Yeah.
First edition base set boxes or just unlimited. And they found that like number, that 9-2.
Oh yeah.
Then you would look at first edition cases. Now there's no first edition cases available for first edition base set. The only
Reference.
first edition labels available are Jungle Fossil. So what
Oh
do?
yeah.
You copy that E1 because
Absolutely.
that's what you see. And then for stop tape, you buy the stop tape that's available on the market. And the stop tape that's currently available on the market does not have that period and does not have that capital S. It's literally the things that were available to somebody to create that box themselves were literally all the warning signs. And like for
Absolutely.
me, and
My
the fact that the original buyer wanted
has
to
four
go out
different
and open it
stories.
and they wouldn't let them. No, not
Oh
the
yeah.
original seller, the original
Original
buyer.
buyer. Yeah.
Like
It's it is literally every possible red flag you could have. I agree with Rattle. My um speculation, my guess about what it's going to be once it's open. First of all, I really hope to God he streams it live.
yeah,
I
no,
think
I don't think he will because I think he knows in the back of his head if this thing is fake, that's the most clickbaity title ever. Like and I've already said it before, he won't phrase it like opened a resealed case. He'll like title it opened a fake $3.5 million Pokemon card box or something like that,
sure.
And
Either way,
everyone would click on that, whether you're a Pokemon fan or not. So
even if
I
it's not
don't think.
live, do you think he's gonna film it though?
Oh,
For
with him,
sure.
yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
he films himself taking a piss every day. Like that dude films everything. I'm not
So
worried about him filming it.
I just want to see it.
Now,
My guess is it's a it's a real sealed base set case with
I
a
think I think it's a resealed base set case with fake first edition boxes in there because
Do you think the packs themselves are what do you
totally
think the
fake.
packs are?
Totally
Do you think
fake.
everything's fake?
No, so the boxes themselves will be first edition boxes, but they'll be
Sure.
fake boxes because if you were gonna make a fake box, you would want to make the first edition box fake because you could wrap it with shrink wrap. You don't wrap it with the Wizard of the Coast wrapping. So if you were going to make a fake booster box, you go with the easier one to fake.
Interesting. Now the packs, do you think they're real packs or
Fuck no. No, the packs are fake. They're going to have whatever in it,
do you think that they're all do you think that there's 36 times 6 real wrappers, pack wrappers with
There's something in there. Now, depending on how far this guy went, there is the potential that because if you are really going to go all out, but now this guy didn't want people to open the case. But now, if you were willing to have somebody open the case, you would have 6 fake first edition booster boxes, but then you would have had to
oh,
go out and get 12 long crimp first edition
Yeah.
base set packs in order to put them on top of those, and you'd have to tape them down, which that shit happens all the time. But you would still need 12 first edition packs, because if they were going to do the peak test on that box,
Yeah.
even if the box itself is fake, because hope at that point you're just hoping that somebody has never seen a real first edition booster box, that they won't be able to identify the box itself being fake. The shrink wrap will be easy to fake. The peak test will be easy-ish if you had real long crimp packs first edition.
What's the peak test? I don't know what that
So
is.
the peak test is, you know how like the boxes you can push down the flap a little bit and you can look in, and you
Oh, yeah.
can verify that there are first edition packs
Oh,
in there, and then you're looking at that top crimp and you want to make sure that they are in fact the long crimp
okay.
ones, because the top packs in first edition booster boxes were long crimp.
So,
If you were going to fake those, that's all the stuff you would have to do to add that one extra layer. The only way to know for real, true 100% is have somebody there that could identify fake first edition booster boxes. And then number two, have somebody there and crack that booster box and verify all the packs.
yeah, it's not going to happen. He's not doing that.
There's too many like steps to do. Or if what I would do if I was Logan Paul, and this is my personal opinion, is he has 5 first edition booster boxes already, right? Like that that aren't part of the case. I would take one of the booster boxes out. I would crack that booster box, verify that the contents are legit, have the baseball card exchange wrap that box, verify that one, put like custody seals on it, very similar to like Rusty TCA Gaming does.
Right, his one.
Then
Right.
take one of his 5 first edition boxes that he knows are real and replace the one he took out, and then wrap the case. That's what I would do.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
So it's like that one extra step is you're just removing a case and replacing a case.
Makes sense.
Because you're not at that point, you're not worried about like you can't like map out those boxes, like get Charizards or anything. And talking about that far back, there's no way anybody would be able to map that stuff out. There's a lot of layers you would have to do to still verify. Now, what the baseball card exchange. See, I forget the name. I always got to talk it out loud. But those guys have graded fake packs before, and
those guys are so sketch. They're so sketch.
What makes me most nervous and most sad about this whole situation, kind of like the hobby in general, is the messages he got from like that guy Jacob and stuff, kind of going after Rattle and attacking him, like talking about
scary. Yeah.
I'm gonna sue you, talking about how he's just a clout chaser, all this stuff. Like the only people that get super defensive like that in private are people that are hiding something. People that are not hiding stuff go out in the public and they make a video or they make a public statement or they go live. Those are the people who don't have stuff to hide. The guys who start talking about lawyers, it's like,
why? You're obviously hiding. Yeah, exactly. It's some guy on a channel on YouTube. Like Jake's in the chat. He says Gary, he thinks Gary's going to go live tonight to talk about it.
Well, who's in the chat? Jake from Pokenomics?
Yeah. He says
Jake, you're more than welcome to join this if you want. Let me know down in the chat if that's something you'd be interested in. I know it's kind of a last second thing.
It's
you want to talk a little bit about this? I'm gonna I'll send Jake the link if he wants it. He could join. If not, at least he has it.
I'm curious, Jake, if you're not going to join, drop in chat where is Gary going to do it on his channel? Do you know where he's going to go live to talk about this? Because I would actually like to watch that. I hope it gets recorded. Half the time I can never join this stuff live, but I do love watching all this back as I sort my endless bulk. That's what I use these videos for. Like whenever anybody does, does anyone know where I got this as a freebie? Does anyone know what this giant Pikachu coin's from? I think it's 25th anniversary coin, but it's huge. Is this from the collection box?
I think that's from the lunchbox tin.
Oh, okay.
I think
somebody gave it to me in the auction I bought as a freebie. I thought it was pretty neat. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've
I
thought about starting to collect the coins recently, or at least grade some of them, because I have freaking all of them. Like I have a lot of the Japanese ones too, the rare ones.
Do you know when they
Um,
stopped making the metal coins?
when?
Yeah, I don't know.
Um, I'm gonna say the gym sets did not have them. So I'm gonna say the Neo sets did not have them either. I'm gonna say it was base set 2 maybe was the last metal coin.
Oh no,
Because
no, the Skyridge ones had metal coins.
well, a lot of them came with the paper ones. Like
Oh, you're
the
talking about like the two-player starter deck, the old ones with the Chansey coin?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
um
That's like the most OG coin out there, that Chansey. I don't, wasn't that not even allowed in tournament play because it was like,
yeah, it wasn't. It would because yeah, it would hit the yeah, it was not because it was easy to flip and
yeah.
predict. Hang on, let me see if I can where are my coins?
And so when Logan Paul went on, so this was interesting too. So when Logan Paul went on the PokeJuice stream, I had said in a previous video, I was like, there's no way that Logan Paul is like this dumb or that Logan Paul doesn't understand what he's doing or the people
He
around
has
him.
a plan. Yeah.
Now, after listening to Logan Paul, I'm kind of under the like belief or the feeling now that he really was just totally all in on the BBCE's like verification of the box, and he took that as the gold gospel. Now, you got to keep in mind the people that told him that box was real were kind of like the people he's already known in the hobby, like the Pokeju had hand delivered Rusty's first edition box to him. Like he already knew those people. So I could understand if all the experts he was surrounding themselves with, because when you saw that Rattle message, when that guy said to him he was 10,000% sure that box is real, which who would ever go out on the limb and say you thought anything was a 10,000% chance real, you know?
No one.
Like
No one.
I
That was
can't
so
even tell you the
stupid.
sun's going to rise tomorrow because there might be a nuclear war and we're in nuclear winter and the sun doesn't come up tomorrow. Like I can't do that. Like
I know.
that was a huge step that they did. Now, I think whether that booster box is real or fake at the end of the day, I think what Rattle's doing, I still think it's a positive because
I do too. And the sad thing is he's absolutely right when he said, "Okay, let's play the scenarios out." The worst case scenario is it turns out to be an authentic box, and these jackasses from the baseball card exchange or whatever the name is, they come out and they're like, "Yeah, see, I told you. We know what we're talking about. We told you the whole time." Meanwhile, no, you had no idea what the hell you were talking about. You did no investigation on this case whatsoever. And there's no way in hell you should have put your name to this case because there's so many glaring, obvious. The one that did it for me, he's right, where the barcodes don't match.
yeah,
If you know anything about barcode scanning technology, which I do, because my degree is in computer networking, computer science, so that's right up my alley. When he's like the freaking label barcode doesn't match what the code is on top, I'm like, it's obviously faked.
yeah,
Like that was all I needed to hear.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, it's possible that that's off and it's an error of some sort. Unlikely, but possible. But as an authenticator, you're telling me you didn't pull out a barcode scanner and just try to scan the box into a notepad file just to test it? That didn't even occur to you as an authenticating service? You're authenticating a $3.5 million item and you
yeah.
can't take the 10 seconds to take a barcode scanner to it?
It's
Why are we going to trust you with anything?
Yeah, it's just that so many things was wrong. And I think Rattle brought up, I think like some of the best points Rattle brought up is while PokeJew was on his Instagram and he was defending a lot of the things he did, he said he did a lot of the same research Rattle did. But the fact that he came to such a very different conclusion for all this stuff just makes me think that he must have been ignoring a lot of these warning signs, you know? And that makes me more nervous. And like Rattle in his last video, he talked, well, PokeJew was getting a finder's fee and stuff like this. Was this dollar amount like blinding some of his thought? Because what's the finder's fee on something like that, you know?
Probably at least 10 grand, I would imagine, if
Yeah,
not
you
more.
know, I would,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
I mean, that's only like small percentage, 10 grand, especially for something that sells for, you
Maybe
know,
35, maybe 1%. Let's say 1%. Was
yeah,
that
that's,
35 grand? Yeah,
but if you see the numbers and you're just blinded, but the fact that nobody wanted the booster box being open is like the biggest red flag of them all. And
I agree.
because if you have nothing to hide and somebody's saying, yes, I will buy this case from you, and all I need to do is verify the contents, you don't care because you're going to sell that case either way.
I pulled this
Now,
out real quick
and
before I will put it away. It's a Pikachu coin,
oh, that's from the
paper look.
Pokemon League.
Yeah, the
Yep.
Pokemon Toys R Us League.
Yep.
Anyway.
I got I got that coin downstairs. I got a lot
Uh,
of it. Trust me, Joe. I got a lot of stuff that I keep hidden in the grandma's basement, man.
that's
So
cool though. You should put some of it out. Like I know Jake talked about this too. You should put, was it Jake? Yeah,
yeah,
his
Jake
last
in
one.
his last.
Yeah, you should put some
So
stuff behind you.
so I had a little rack right here. Like so this is like a behind this wall is a half bath. So there's like a little gap here.
Okay.
And I had like a little rack there, and I was gonna add like one Pokemon product that we talked about like in that video. So like in today's video, we talked about that coin. So in the next video, I would just
You'd
add
have
the
it.
coin, but I would hide it somewhere's in the rack. And I had like a big cardboard box, and I started doing the stuff. It lasted one video, and then because this is my living room, so every day I was like, it's our rack we put our blankets in. So every day I take the blankets out and like put the rack back, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
I'm not doing this anymore. This is way too much work. So now we're
I
back.
don't. I don't blame you.
Yeah. And I lost like my Pokemon room because when my son was born, we had to take one of the so we had like the guest bedroom, and then we had like a giant closet room slash office, and that ended up being his room. It's just
I'm gonna lose this room because when my fiance moves in. This is a 3-bedroom house, and we're gonna have 2 kids. There's 2 kids,
yeah.
so I'm actually getting construction done to take half of the family room. I have to work from home, so I need an office. So I'm actually going to get a much smaller space than this room to
Yeah.
cram all my Pokemon stuff in. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
the feeling.
No, it's like it's just part of being an adult though. You lose your Pokemon room. I think we're just lucky enough that we could have a Pokemon room.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Starving children in Africa, water and
Yeah.
food and all that. Yeah,
Yeah. Look at this
we're over
$10,000
here.
Pokemon piece of cardboard.
I think about that sometimes. Like we're really adult men over here,
Yeah.
like talking about our expensive cardboard,
You know,
and there's people that can't afford food.
yeah, but it's funny though. You can now, I think now I understand the argument too with like collectibles and everything and how a lot of things could be bubbles and fad and stuff like this. Now, I think one
Excuse
of
me.
the weird things about Pokemon now is how our age group has now finally like came into this income earning years. And I talked about it on the last stream I was with you and Jake. Now, I don't know if Pokemon is going to die off because when you look at the hype of 99, why did people leave? They literally just got too old. Where now you're going to start to have generation after generation pile in, but you're not going to have those generations leaving anymore. Does that make sense?
I
Like,
agree. I share the same exact viewpoint actually. It's a generational hobby. It's jumped the shark.
but
It's
now the
it's here to stay.
generations will start stacking though.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
maybe we'll start picking up when even now we talk about generations, we can just talk about like age gaps, like
Yeah.
maybe somebody was around in 2007, they'll be coming in a couple of years till eventually, maybe 20 years from now, like this modern age group of the 9-year-olds in fourth grade or whatever playing sword and shield. Eventually, like now, when they get in 20 years from now, the market will be so developed because you'll have all these
Yeah.
people like trickling. And that's like one of those things that I'm a positive for Pokemon in the long term.
Oh yeah. This IP is going nowhere. This IP is going absolutely nowhere. There was a time in the hobby when everyone was really worried about it. Um, couple different times, a couple different points. You had the time, like I was talked about, when Nintendo was taken over. There was a huge speculation about what was going to happen long term. There was a time in the lull of the Diamond and Pearl Platinum era when it was at an all-time low. There was rumblings that organized play was going to be cut, and lots of, the production on the cards was ramped down to almost nothing. Then there was the time, what was it, XY, from what I've heard. There was a time when XY was sitting on the shelves and you couldn't move that to save its ass.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of different sets, and XY didn't move forever.
So there's definitely been lulls in the hobby where interest has waned. But as an intellectual property, between the movies, the video games, the anime, the card game, the marketing on the plushie, the toys, like it's not going anywhere. It's just here to stay. It's going to grab new kids forever. I do wish that they would stop watering down the design of new Pokemon. I think that that's a huge problem and has been for a while. That the actual, like that. I mean, if you talk about what you build upon, a ground level building block would be the next 150 that are released, or however many it's going to be. Every time they release a new 150 to build upon, I look at them and I'm like, dude, like who's designing these Pokemon these days? Like they just, and I've heard arguments like, okay, well, what's Ditto? Like what's Voltorb's a Pokeball? That's stupid.
I've been on the record saying that.
And I get it, but yeah, to some degree, but you also had, for every one of those, you also had Mew, Mewtwo, Charizard,
Yeah.
Zapdos, Moltres. Like I've taken a look. So my ex-wife was actually a graphic design artist, and she's broken it down for me as to why the modern designs are not as good.
Yeah.
Like in like the way a musical composer can break down why a song is not a good song. It is not all subjective. There are industry standards to what is attractive to the eye.
Yeah.
The psychology behind it.
I just want to real quick say, hey Jake, thanks for joining the chat.
Hey guys.
Appreciate you stopping by. You came right at the time we're still talking about Logan's case. I know it's just the big topic right now going on. Everybody's talking about it. So what are your thoughts now that you did watch the PokeJuice Instagram live stream, right, Jake?
I caught the tail end of it. But I was in like Discord with people, and they told me like what happened. I actually caught like the Island Boys part of it mostly.
Yeah, that got a little crazy.
And I honestly I didn't even know who the Island Boys were, which shows how connected I am.
I don't know.
But I looked them up after, and then I watched like the impulsive. This is how it works. That's why they do these things.
Yeah.
I watched like the impulsive Logan Paul's podcast with the guys, and to learn the backstory of the drama, the fake drama that seems to be there.
Oh my God.
So from I guess you call it the Cliff Note version you heard from Discord and everything, what do you think? Do you think PokeJu brought up some real like valid reasonings on his behalf, or do you still think like there's still something going on kind of in the background that they're not letting people know?
Well, I didn't because I didn't watch what PokeJu said. I don't know. I don't know the PokeJu at all. I've never talked to him. So I really don't have comments either way about him. Yeah, it's like I think it's hard because I don't know any of the people involved actually. So I don't really know Rattle either, nor do I know like Jake. I know that Jake, I forget his Instagram name. He's the one who I just instinctively, don't.
You don't surround yourself with that type of
before all of this hit, like just that video with Mealy Pops, like the videos. I don't know if you guys saw the videos when they bought this case or were selling this case. They found the case, I guess, and they were selling it to, I forget the guy's name, a big sports card collector and other collector who's the one who ended up selling it to Logan. I think he bought it for like 2.7 million from them, and then he sold it for 3.5 million to these guys. And he's just talking it up. I don't know. It's
And
I wrote a long E4 post about it, just how irritating I found it.
I would say it's irritating because like when people do that, they hype up prices and we've talked about it, I guess, on other videos and in ways when you talk about like the pack breaker and everything. And that's a very small scale where they'll be opening a pack and see a card and they're like, in PSA 10, then they double the price of a PSA 10. And then, it's that very like misleading tactic. Now, for these real big guys on the hobby, when they're doing these misleading tactics, they're kind of doing it in a way to their friends, or at least people that they are in the same groups with. And you just wonder, like, how long can this sort of like pushing product on people in a very like manipulative type way? You always wonder, like, how long could this potentially last for? And I don't know.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. Like, who's going to be caught at the end of the day with the holding the stick, like musical chairs? Like, who's the last person to get it talked up?
I'll tell you what, I don't think Logan Paul has a contract. From the Instagram live he did, it doesn't sound like he has a contract. But with that said, I would not want to battle Logan Paul's lawyers in a courtroom. Like,
Oh no. No.
there's
The,
just
the worst.
there's
The
there's
worst thing
some
they can do.
people who I will not go the battle with, and he would be one of them, man. Like he would bankrupt people, over that kind of stuff
Okay.
if they weren't going to give them their money back.
Yeah. I mean, you never know how nasty someone is unless they're like a close personal friend. And and then even then when money, it brings some stuff out. And obviously when someone has a lot of money, they can do a lot of damage to you if they choose to, with that money and with that power and resources. So yeah, I mean, it's part of why the whole like, I've got $150 million. I'm going to sue you, Rattle. Like,
why did he say that though, Jake? Why do you gotta be that guy?
First of all, like I highly doubt this guy has $150 million. Like,
Sure, no way.
To be our age and have $150 million, like we would know about you. Like as like you would have had to start some sort of company.
Yeah,
would be extraordinarily successful.
But if you had 150, you might let everyone know too, like some random YouTuber.
Yeah, or
when you flex and all. It's like,
or you have to have inherited that money or had some sort of huge, and that's possible that he has some sort of like family fortune. I mean, I have no idea who this person is.
Yeah,
but like that's crazy. If this guy has $150 million at his age, that's like insanely ahead of the curve. He certainly didn't get there on Pokemon. I can tell you that much. and because the most successful people in Pokemon and the people who probably made the most are there might be some silent, certainly whales who had the money to put it in, but people like Rusty and have been grinding at it and have these crazy huge collections and have sold, and hundreds of thousands of things,
I would speculate on Rusty's net worth, but even when you think about his net worth, it was a lot of that was making $5 on cards. People forget that. They see the big purchases,
started that way.
Sales, they forget. It's like, no, Rusty did a lot of that $5 grinding,
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But
so Jake,
yeah.
When's you said PokeJuice going live tonight to talk about this? Or no, King Pokemon is Gary?
King Pokemon is at 11. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
Like 22
Where
minutes.
is it? Where's it going to be live?
On Instagram, he said.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll probably end this at 11 then, just so I am curious. I want to watch that as well.
Is there going to be like a Discord channel for people watching it? Are you going to do a voice Discord?
Maybe we'll hang out in the Discord, but I was just gonna watch on Instagram and make some snarky comments under some fake account. No, I'm just joking. No, I'm interested. It's very interesting because I am not someone who knows I don't know if these things can be authenticated or not. I'm very interested to learn if something like this can be authenticated, how PWCC does this. Is it legit? I had someone post on one of my videos that Scott in his Patreon, SM Pratt went over like how someone would. It was one random comment I got, so I don't know if that's true or anything. You know, and his Patreon is private, and so people should not be sharing what he's doing there.
Yeah,
No,
I'm in his
but
Patreon. I don't remember seeing that.
you didn't see that? Okay, so I don't know what that comment was, but I thought that was interesting. So there might be someone like Scott or someone else who has, you know, some knowledge or something. I'm always really interested in the knowledge part, so I'm very interested to see how all of that, if that comes out. The drama part, it's okay. Like I'm more interested in the knowledge part because I actually think this is a very interesting situation. I am the clout chasing and I'm also interested in that, how all of that plays out and how like it's very strange having influencers who have lots of money and lots of power, and to see how people react around them and the way they talk to them and want some of that, or that's how it appears to me. I don't really know. So yeah,
that is an interesting fact you bring up too, is that clout chasing. And I actually did think about that because I've made a couple lives now, and even like us talking about it right now, I guess like somebody, if they wanted to in the chat, could say like just us talking about this in a way, I guess would be clout chasing. But
yeah,
I think where we run into the issue is I think there's two types of clout chasing. There's the one where there's a couple people that literally just did copy paste videos of all Rattle's hard work and just use like, you know, thumbnails of Logan Paul buys fake $3.5 million. And then they just real quickly in their video say, oh, by the way, Rattle did all this homework. And then they just like use all his hard work to get a ton of views. Like that is this kind of stuff I don't like that copy and paste mentality. Now, what we're doing is more to the discussion factor. Like I'm okay with this because I think in this hobby, this is interesting. Like Jake said, this could have long running effects for the hobby.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak for myself. I'm definitely not cloud chasing, nor I can, and I have zero interest. You know, I did reach out to Logan Paul early on, very, very early on, to see if he wanted to buy some of my cards, and that's the only time I've ever reached out or was interested in that, because I had a lot of cards that I wanted to sell. And I liked the idea of selling to a very rich person because I thought that they were going to go down a lot. I'll be completely blunt and honest.
Well, speaking of that,
I reached out to the Poke Joe once and literally to ask him, like, so I could get his thought, and I didn't even get so much as a response. So
yeah, I mean, if Logan Paul or any of these people for some reason wanted to come on my channel and talk about this stuff, I would certainly do that because it would be fascinating. But I'm definitely not. I'm just hanging out with people in the hobby, and we're just nerding out on what we think all this.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, we're 3 hours deep into a nobody's clout chase. Nobody's even, if you're 3 hours watching this conversation at this point, I mean,
Jake, I was nervous going on your channel because you have, you know, like 3 times, 4 times as many subscribers as me. And I'm like, am I clout chasing by going on Jake's channel? You know, like that is how my brain works.
I was nervous going on Jake's channel because of the depth of knowledge that he has. Like, I'm so like,
there's
no, like the amount of research.
Done patting Jake's ego.
Well, being serious, like the amount of research that he does all the time based off, you know, like on the pop and the prices and the market of every damn card in existence. Like it's a little intimidating. Like I'd feel the same way if he had a 500, 100 or 50,000 subscribers. It's not the subscribers. It's like, I mean, you could argue that the subscribers are there because of who he is and because of what he knows. But it was more like, oh, I'm about to talk with somebody who actually knows what the hell they're talking about. Like for real. Like, I
really liked our conversation. I thought it ended up being, I mean, I guess I'm biased, right? That I thought we had a good conversation, but I liked it. I think people enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's great.
It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the whole like cloud chasing stuff in general, I mean, I had like TCA Gaming on my channel, Rusty, early on.
Cool.
and I had a number of people early on, which really helped my growth initially. And I was aware of the fact that that would make me seem more credible to people who had never heard me before or anything like that. And so I think that tactically I was aware, like I at that time, I definitely wasn't looking to like be some sort of huge channel or set up any sort of business or anything like that. Now I'm not looking to be a big channel. I'm more looking, I do like having like a business or setting up like a reasonable thing here for me so that it's sustainable and enjoyable and not just a grind that pays like $20, every month or $100 every month, which is what YouTube is right now. I can tell you for Pokenomics here. And have you gotten to 1,000 yet?
Nope.
Okay.
$1,000?
Then you're going to get that sweet $20 bill. I will tell you, first $100 or $20 bill, it is satisfying because you have worked. Like I worked to get to my first 1,000 subscribers. I probably made 50 videos or something. And, and when I got to that 1,000 and I made that first like $20 or whatever, it was a super satisfying $20. But I mean, my thing is like in life is like, I'm okay doing those things minimally if I feel competent and that I'm not, I would be very uncomfortable portraying myself as something I wasn't ever. And I think I go out of my way to like turn down opportunities or not do things that could make me look better or make me look a certain way. But, the vast majority, I have a really small channel, or it's all relative. I have
in the giant sphere that is
in the giant sphere in creating some sort of business. I make on the channel, I think I make $160 a month or something like that, $140 a month. That is far away for anyone out there who thinks they're going to.
Yeah, people out there listening, do you know how much money we spend on Pokemon?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's pre-taxes. So,
yeah. Right.
So it's not. So it's. But yeah, for the clout stuff, I think it's if you're passionate about like knowledge and knowing what you're talking about and then it becomes like, for me, like people who will do things to kind of grow their channel in a way or do smart tactical things. I have no problem. In fact, I want them to do that because I want those voices to be bigger. What's annoying is when I see a person who I feel like has no substance or content and all they do is just clout chase and it just feels hollow. It feels like they don't really have anything to offer. To go to your point of just like copying and pasting someone else's material and making it your own just so that you get a lot of views during this time, like that would be like it's, I haven't made a video on Logan Paul because I have nothing to add. I got asked it in a live, in the middle of a live and I enjoy talking about it. But there's lots of opportunities that I will, to get like a few thousand views or something that I am happy to not take.
Yeah, I didn't even know I did know who Logan Paul was, but like I didn't know about him a lot until he got into the Pokemon hobby.
Same.
Was when,
I had no idea who that was. Yep.
Like I knew him a little bit in passing or whatever, but I wasn't a follower of his channel or anything like that. But I think, that's part of this hobby too, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, is when you have people at this very high end, like even if you're not buying at the high end, even if you're not buying $240,000 first edition Charizard because they're the most overvalued card in the hobby, but you still need to follow that market because that trickle down effect affects everything, I'm
gonna pose a topic question if I could. It's a question that's been on my mind for a little bit. I've yet to hear anyone really talk about it. And it doesn't have to be huge, but I am interested to get both your guys' thoughts on it. How do you think the new move by PWCC to weekly auctions and buyer's premium is going to affect things?
I have my thoughts. So I can make my thoughts quick. I think buyer premiums for PWCC is the death of PWCC for both the seller and the buyer. And the reason why I say it's the death of both is because the people buying are not going to want to pay the 20%. And then the people selling are going to start to very quickly see that all their things they're selling are going to start selling for drastically less. Now, the very first auction that they have, or maybe the very first two, I don't think everyone even knows the buyer's premium exists, which is crazy. Like I talked about on this channel, I'm sure you guys know, obviously, but for the large majority of the PWCC buyers, they probably don't even know that 20% is tacked on. So we might not see that impact huge on the first auction. But it going into the future, people are going to be like, when you get on the higher end and you start spending, like even if you're only spending $2,000 on a PWCC auction, for some people, maybe that's a really lot, but for some people, $2,000 is probably like a walk in the park. But you're talking $400 if you spend $2,000.
I know.
$400 is a lot of Pokemon. You could buy a good card in Pokemon for $400. You could buy some really good ones, actually.
I know. What do you think? Let's take the buyer's premium out of the equation for a second. I'm also really curious. I don't know about more, but I'm very curious about how weekly auctions are going to affect. Do you think weekly auctions are a good, speaking as a seller, do you think weekly auctions are a good thing or a bad thing?
I think so as a seller, I think, and as a buyer, I think it's both a good thing. So for a seller, you're going to have more eyes on your cards with not as much like just fluff all the way around you, like think about how many,
True.
especially if you're trying to sell more common stuff. Like if you want, let's just most common card out there. Let's say you want to sell a base set Charizard.
Sure.
You're going to literally fight against 100 other base set Charizards in order for your card to sell. And just the fact that all 100s are selling is amazing. And then as for the buyer too, you don't have to like search through as much garbage. Like the hardest part of the last PWCC auction blocks is you literally had to like be very precise with your search terms to even find some stuff.
Yeah.
I had to search all my cards by set names, and like some of the trophy cards and the more high-end prize cards, if you didn't have precise searches, you might have totally missed them in general, unless you were able to somehow go through a couple thousand items. So that's my thought.
I actually have, to get really nerdy here, I have friends who are programmers. I actually have suspicions as to what actual algorithm that they're using. I had a friend tell me what he thought. Very informed. The name of the algorithm, and it's not a very up-to-date modern algorithm. It's an archaic search algorithm, and I'm surprised if they use that. That's really foolish of them. On top of that, I'm surprised they haven't built out an app yet. Like you literally have to be in front of your freaking web browser to do this crap, which is just horrendous as far as like how modern Bliss Point works as far as buying stuff. Like I was so mad that PWCC took the initiative to change the way the auctions work versus upgrading their search algorithm and their interactive way of actually bidding on shit. Like I was really pulling for PWCC. I like them and I have for a long time, and I'm really falling out of love with those guys. Like I just I don't know. I'm like, as far as we are, me and you with CGC, I'm so like, this is the last straw. I'm so getting there with PWCC. I'm about to unvault everything I have and just send it back.
I'm still keeping everything in the vault because I think it's so easy to just put everything to fixed price listing for crazy high prices, and if they sell, they sell. And that's where I'm at right now with all my vault stuff. Now, I want to hear your thoughts though, Jake, on kind of what we were just touching base on.
Yeah, I have we'll see how it goes, but I have a little bit of just a different overall feeling about it. Like I don't think it's gonna have that negative an effect, and I think people will probably adapt to it. I guess I just think that it's amazing how quickly like people adapt to things. It's a silly example, and it's definitely in a different vein, but I just remember like how upset everyone was that like the YouTube down button was gonna disappear, and everyone's gonna like, we're gonna go off YouTube, and now that we can't do this, it's like, no, like people just like adapt and like keep doing what they're doing. Like it's gonna be about the deal now. So mathematically, if if for some reason the buyer's premium is making this, the card should go, you'd think, roughly 20% under what they were going for before. But is the seller, I'm not sure, is the seller not getting a piece at all of the buyer's premium, or
They are.
It's like a weird tiered system.
Yeah, so it should be, and I haven't gone through it, but I would think that they would structure it so that it would probably end up being a sort of similar. So if I'm buying it for 20% less, the seller's getting about the same as they would have if I were buying it for the full price before. But I could be wrong about that. It might depend on the amount.
Yeah, it's not an even dollar for that 20%. I think it like makes its way up to, on the high end, maybe like 15%. But you have it. Yeah, it makes it really hard on these low end cards. I just think buyers are, for the smart buyer out there, the guy looking for the good deal, they're going to factor in this 20%, and the seller, I just think it's going to get hurt with it. And maybe
they will get hurt if people are paying 20% under, and PWCC is making most of that money rather than the seller. Yeah. And I haven't, honestly, I've not sat down and really looked at that mathematically. If that is the case, then I agree with you, Pokenomics, because that just feels straightforward that, now I also think that there could be some psychology at play here, and that people will be actually paying a little bit more now. So even though there's the 20% premium, they're going to factor that in, but maybe not at the full 20% as us humans work. It might feel like, oh, I'm getting it. I'm buying it at $100. That's a deal. I'm actually really paying 120, and I only wanted to pay 110. But it's just the buyer's premium. So whatever, I don't know what people do, right? Do. But
I have the chart pulled up just real quick if anyone's curious. So 20% buyer's premium, seller's commission. 0 to $50 is 0%. You get nothing. 50 to 100 is 2%. 100 to 1,000 is 4%. 1,000, and then it jumps 2% every couple grand after that. So up to 15% at $1 million. So
you got to sell $1 million to get 15%.
So it's just PWCC profiting from this, not
pretty much. Which is another
theoretically. Okay. Yeah. If that ends up being how it works, logically they will lose customers over. They'll lose sellers over this, and the buyers won't profit in any way. They'll probably still sell at around market, including the premium. The only one who makes money off of this potentially is PWCC, depending on how they're structuring it. But it will find an equilibrium. So if they don't get enough people selling their stuff anymore, then they will get rid of this, or they will change it, because their business will go under. Like, capitalism will handle this for us at some point. It's the exact same thing that we were telling everyone when they were freaking out that they couldn't get Pokemon booster box. It's like, stop, just don't buy them. Like, capitalism, the laws of supply and demand will figure this stuff out and make it fair again. What you can do, though, is be educated. And that's always how you're not going to get screwed. So the point that you make about understanding that there is going to be that buyer's premium, so you don't get surprised by it. What I will say is that I bought something and have, bid on a few of the premium auctions, and they make it really clear. So unlike on Heritage or Golden, where it's a little bit, it feels a little almost hidden's a little strong, but it feels not as obvious that there's this buyer's premium. When you click, it factors in the buyer's premium already in it. So you see exactly what you're paying.
Okay.
I didn't know that. That's good to know, though.
So if they do the same thing in the regular as the premium auction, which I don't know if they will, they may not. They may make it a little bit less clear. Then I think you don't even have to do the math yourself. It automatically does it for you and tells you exactly how much you'll have to pay. So I don't think that'll be an issue. That part.
That's awesome.
Trailing question. Do either of you foresee another company taking PWCC's place on eBay?
If they could get at whatever the deal eBay had worked out with PWCC, because eBay or PWCC must have been paying crazy low fees to eBay.
They were. I think
if
2%.
Somebody could get in and get the exact same rates PWCC was doing, and was big enough to have that backbone, or not backbone, but like infrastructure to house cards. And because when you think about PWCC, the reason why I like PWCC, and it was actually kind of scary in a way, is I would just literally pack a box full of Pokemon cards, like 60 slabs, and all my shipping receipt would say was comments, 60 graded Pokemon cards. Like, and you would just blindly send it to them and they would all make it on. And like, it took a little while to get there, but at the end, I was just like closing my eyes and just being like, here's $10,000 worth of cards.
Yeah.
Please list them. I don't know. If it's going to take a while for a company to get to that point.
Yeah, that's what I liked about him, and I wish I'm sorely missing that. I really am. I wish somebody else would pick up that mantle on eBay.
It's very similar as grading, right? Like the fear of I'm going to send a bunch of my cards out. Like people, right, have that fear, particularly newer people in the hobby, about sending their first submission out to PSA is terrifying. It's like, oh my God, sending out my childhood cards, or I'm sending out these cards. What are these people going to, do to them? I think it's the same thing with newer companies, and we have that. It'd be normal to have that fear with PWCC, as you were saying, and then even more so for these kind of newer. It's amazing the amount of grading companies. I was just looking at it today. So I wouldn't be surprised if, I'm very much of the belief that like there are a lot of people making a big mistake right now, and a lot of companies thinking that there's going to be a lot more demand for them than okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's right. But yeah, I just gonna real quick ask everybody in the chat if you guys could hit the like button. That'd help me out a lot. Get this shameless plug in. But
Yeah.
if Gary just went live, we could end this stream now.
Yeah.
We could all
It's
go
been
watch
fun.
it. But I just want to, I want to say thank you, Echo, for joining. And Jake, I know it was a last second thing. I literally just threw you out a blind. Do you want to join this? And dude, the fact that you came and joined, that's awesome.
Yeah, I always love talking Pokemon. It's fun.
Yeah.
You don't have the tech ability to just bring it up, right? Do you, from Instagram onto this?
That would be sweet.
I don't.
Yeah, because
I
wouldn't either, to be honest. So
I would have to like somehow be able to do it from my phone. Yeah.
Well, let's see. I might be able to. Hang on. If I can sign into Instagram on this web tab here.
And I would be able to share. You could share your screen, right?
Yeah, you can. Hang on. Oh my God, what's my Instagram password?
Yeah, we'll see what the quality is like of this. Give it a try.
Oh my God.
We'll listen and give you our real time reactions. We'll try
that
not
would be awesome. I think it would be awesome for everybody to
the little watch party.
What kind of interactions have you had with King Pokemon, Jake?
I think I've had him on the channel 3 times since I started the channel. It's always been positive. We're respectful of each other. I think I had him on during like the Frosted Caribou stuff the last time, and people on Gary's side of it were upset at how hard I was on Gary, and people on Frosted Caribou's side were how upset how easy I was on Gary. So there you go.
Can you do it?
I can do it. Hang on. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. This will be a first. This will be when everybody drops off watching this video on my YouTube algorithm. They just be like, boom.
All right, let me see if I can. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to share the audio. All right, here. Let's just test this.
If you share your screen and you share that, it should just go. Like if
it says host disabled sharing.
Pokenomics has to give you permission to share.
How about now?
Make him the host or give him permission to share. And then if you share it and play it, you'll be able to.
All right, hang on.
I just click multiple participants can share simultaneously.
Yeah. The only thing I'm wondering though is like, are we allowed to do like this is something I'd have no idea about in terms of like copywriting or like using it as like your content on this like on Instagram. I don't know how any of this stuff works. Anyone in the chat, a YouTube, like an actual know how all these things work, share with us.
That's a good question. That
Give Pat Flynn a quick text.
Did it give you? Oh, there we go. Ooh.
Can you say it? Can you?
Oh, what is Gary wearing? Oh, I could hear it, but it's very low on your end.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
Yeah, it's like almost mumbling.
Damn. I don't know if there's any settings I can adjust. There's like no settings.
Are the people in the chat, are they able to hear this? Oh my, what is he wearing? Should I look, guys?
Oh my God.
He's like Gary's just, I don't know. You either like him, you love him, or you hate him.
Can anyone hear this?
Yeah, I could hear it. It's just like background. Maybe it's just background through your speaker, through your headset. That might be what it is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You want to try to pull your headset out? Because I think probably can you hear it? I assume you can hear it.
I can hear it.
Yeah, so what's happening is I think it's not picking up on the microphone through the Zoom. So if you pull out your headset and just play it on your computer, then we'll all probably be able to hear it.
I don't have speakers.
At all. Oh, okay.
All right. Well,
Damn.
Either way, it was still a great thought, guys. But
yeah, I mean, I could do it too. But I mean, I don't need to force anything, But or Pokenomics, you could pull it up on Instagram too, and just share it.
Yeah, I can't. I don't have Instagram on my computer. I only have it on my phone.
Okay, let me. I mean, I'll do it quickly. I mean, we can also just go on Instagram and watch it, but whatever.
I like to just. Is it bad that I'm just gonna like critique everything he says? I don't know. Like that. I think for the most part, and I will say this about Gary, is that he does have like a very bluntness about him, but he also has a lot of like shields up, and people don't realize that he is keeping a lot of stuff private too, until you really listen to him for a long time, and then you realize some stuff. That's just my thought on him. So, can you guys still hear me? Echo?
Yeah, I can still hear it. Yep.
Okay.
I'm watching the thing on my phone. My fiance says that she's watching us and very patiently waiting for me to call her when we're done.
Oh, you're in the doghouse.
Every time I do one of these, she's always like, how long are you going to be on this one? Like, is this another 4-hour conversation?
In my carry-on onto airplanes.
Okay, I can hear it.
And, where it had to go through TSA.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to see my haircut. See, I still got hair, right? Okay. Yeah, so TSA, I've had them x-ray the boxes. And then I asked one of the girls, I said, what does it look like? Because I couldn't get around to see. And they told me that it would look the same as a stack of money. So if you x-ray the cases through TSA, it looks like stacks of bills.
Oh, so you can see the cards themselves.
In a case x-ray, well, certainly, but how effective is it? I don't know. Now, somebody says BBCE, the grading company, claims they did scan it, x-ray scan it. So
I doubt they x-rayed scanned it. I doubt it.
So anyway,
I don't doubt that. I just don't think you're going to be able to discern the contents definitively from an x-ray scan.
Not a lot of detail.
Don't.
Okay. Somebody else says, why were the Island Boys there? Well, last night I did a live stream with with my brother Pokeju, Michael. And after Logan Paul was on, the Island Boys were around, and so the Pokeju brought them in, the two brothers. And they came on, they were pretty rude and everything, but they brought a lot of attention, to the live stream. So I guess there's good and bad. I mean, those guys aren't my style, of course.
They're nobody's style. Who's he?
Oh my God.
I'm not sure what the deal is with them, but the reason they were there was just because they were in the chat and they came on. So now Logan did text me after the live stream, and he told me, let me see, I put it down here. He texted me, he said, they just hustling. They just hustling.
I love listening to him.
He's so grandfatherish. Oh my God.
They were just hustling.
It's pretty
That's why
accurate.
The Island Boys.
That's all they were doing.
Okay, next one. What makes you think the case is correct? Logan Paul's case, a first edition base. Well,
Yes, please enlighten us.
maybe it's wishful thinking, and I don't want more negative drama, with all this stuff.
He's
So
just too involved with too many people in this.
I don't have a lot to go on. Rattle has done a series of YouTube videos under Rattle Pokemon, and he really goes into it deep. He's a lot smarter than I am. He knows how to dig this stuff up. So he kind of has me a little bit worried about whether it's legitimate or not. So
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna wait and see. We'll know this weekend.
Him and Rattle are friends, so they've been out to dinner and stuff
More
together.
negativity in that.
Oh wow.
Okay. What do you think of Rattle's series on this? Well, his series is unbelievable. I mean, he's amazing. But is he right? Well, we'll see. He's starting to get me questioning the whole thing, and he's starting to convince me. So I guess we're going to see.
Uh-oh.
I think he's doing a fair job. Rattle, I've known him for years, and he's actually been, here to Las Vegas to visit me. And we've had dinner together and that. So I like him as a person. Plus, he's very
He's like having
smart.
a time machine.
So hopefully,
Yeah,
that
Rattle
answers
and Gary
that
are
question.
are
Okay,
are
why didn't
friendly.
Logan
And Gary
have
was
you
on Rattle's like
authenticate the
1,000
case?
subscriber.
Didn't he do
special
so
thing.
in the past?
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what I wanted to know. Why he didn't come to me and have me and get my input, get my feedback. Why didn't Logan come to me?
Because you don't have your case. It's in storage. That's why nobody went to you, Gary. Well, and
He
Logan
said
didn't know you really had one.
it wasn't real, that he thought it was real because it was authenticated by what was considered a legit company.
Basics
Anyone
in
have
there.
anyone
So,
have any questions for
and now the
Gary?
other part of the
I'll type it in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, didn't he do so in the past? Well, he never had me authenticate anything for him.
We could have Gary give my channel a shout out and tell him we're live streaming this on my channel, and everybody will leave his and come here.
Just socialize and have fun. So I never authenticated anything for him before, but he did recommend to Steve Aoki that Steve has me or had me authenticate a first edition base box that at the time was under 100,000, and so he gave Steve he had Steve have me authenticate the box. Well, I went through it very carefully, and I let Steve know it's totally. Hi, Chris RWK. So I was able to check the box out, and it turned out that I believed it was a repack, that it was re-wrapped.
Botshot said Gary Hardcore E4 King. Yeah, man.
I might have said
Way
Steve
too much on
100,000
E4,
bucks.
but he was posting on E4. Nobody was reading it too.
Steve have me check it out because Steve wouldn't have had any idea how to tell. So, okay.
I'll tell you, SM Pratt definitely flocked to Gary for a lot of stuff over the years.
Everybody knows I love MetaZoo. I'm having so much fun with it. And I haven't had this much fun since 1999 with Pokemon. And I'll
What
tell you,
about it do you
great
find
app-
fun?
my
Come
enjoyment.
on, Gary. Do you really have to shill MetaZoo in
I'm
every
having a great
single
time
time
with-
we talk?
It's the worst designed card game I've
Of
ever
course, I
seen.
love the people. My son's actually working with Michael Waddell. And so Michael actually just
Yeah,
contacted
Jonathan
me.
said Logan's trying to compete with
I
Gary's
hope I
first edition
remember to
cases.
do it, towards the end
Gary's
of
got 11, he says.
do.
And what does Logan Paul have?
It's going to be crazy.
11, if
And it has
Uh,
nothing to do with- I'll
He has
tell you
9
now.
with that case, I think.
That's right.
Oh,
9.
That's right.
no, he has
Yeah, I
5.
know Logan
So 5
trusted
plus 6
source
is
that
11. So
told
they're
him
tied.
that was
technically.
real. And maybe
Yeah,
it
you're
is.
right. You're right.
Just
Yeah.
to find out. So, I mean,
Why do you think Gary's
Yeah,
storage
it's been
lockers?
about-
Why couldn't he just go to that storage and pull it out?
all of
and
my
just-
boxes and cases I'm having signed,
Is it
you know,
really that
by
hard?
you go to the conventions.
I don't know.
MetaZoo is coming to all of my conventions, and you can have them sign whether legit boxes and cases. So in my case, because we're friends and neighbors, Michael Waddell, I'm going to have him, or Steve Aoki has also signed a couple for me, signing the boxes or cases, and that's Provenance. That shows that these were in the beginning and these are legit, and they're signed by people who know. So of course I would probably be trusted, but let's say you that is new in the hobby, that they can't that they get one of my boxes in 10 years. How are they going to prove it? Well, with those signatures, that's good. So 20 years ago we didn't have to worry about that. Now we do. Okay. Isn't Logan smarter than spending 3.5 million without informing me? Hey, Michael, the Pokeju. Hello. All right. Hey, you want to come on for a moment just to say hi? Are you decent?
Are you decent?
What?
Michael, are you
What kind of comment is that?
That's such a grandfather thing to say.
if you're decent, then come on. You don't have to, but I just thought we'd say hi.
I'm really curious to know what
Request.
they're going to do to authenticate this box, this case.
They
you.
gotta crack it
Hey,
open and
Michael.
open the box.
I wonder if he knows.
Doing, boy, what fun we had last night, huh?
Oh yeah, loads of fun.
It
Dude,
was-
Michael, I bet you he's secretly shaking in his boots.
Yeah, it was like a great constructive conversation, and clearing the air and getting good story out there, and then having Logan come in and tell everybody how he feels, and then the Island Boys crashing at the end and giving us a show.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what it was, and I thought it was great. I know they're friggin' crazy.
There's a train wreck with that.
We
Yeah.
had fun with it, and it added to the show, like you said.
Yeah,
And
it
you're
was
right about Logan. He surprised me with a couple things he said. So, that was
Yeah.
that
The
was
most shocking thing Logan said was, I had no clue that you had a case to begin with, Gary.
I can't believe we never
Wow.
we've discussed our boxes many times, but I guess he never saw any of the pictures I have of them, and I guess it just never came up. Yeah, he was shocked.
yeah.
In a way, I'm kind of glad he didn't know.
Like you would have been the first call for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I wasn't, because he probably would have tried to buy mine, and they're not for sale. And I hate saying no to people, because, my friend, to my friends, but I would not have sold it. And yet he would have been on me like flies on poop. And
Oh my God, Gary, you are just.
so, anyway, that was great last night. That was really a lot
How
of
the heck is Michael the Pokeju
I got
keeping up
so
his
many
lifestyle financially?
questions,
How
and then
much
I thought I
product
would
you gotta
just do a
shove
lot
down
of
people's throats?
answer some questions.
Oof.
But it turned out I
Not a
got
fan.
what looked like
Pokemon's not a
like
fan.
350 questions, and I obviously I can't do that.
That's
I'm
how it
not
was.
as young as you.
Oh yeah, that's how it was for me. Like it went from one question to 300 questions in a matter of seconds, and it was just so many people have so many. And I tried to cover like as much as I could in last night's stream, and obviously there was a video that came out today that like I watched actually
Taz, oh my
like,
God.
skimmed through it. Like, man, like, you know, I just hope, you know, this story turns out to have a good ending, and it's not like
It's gonna have a good ending for us because it's gonna be entertaining. When
being
it's finished.
portrayed to be on Rattle's account, because the last video was reaching pretty hard, in my opinion. And out of the hours of conversation that I sent to Rattle for him and helping him with whatever he was trying to do, he only one screenshot and twisted it in a way that, you know,
If that's
they
true,
go
if
hard
that's
after
true,
him.
that's sus. That's
Yeah.
sus as hell.
that he's your friend. So, and this is just a super sensitive subject. So
I think Rattle has his bias towards Michael the Poke
It is,
Jew, though.
I mean, so I saw a message today
We
where
gave him the benefit of the doubt, I think, but I don't like it when people snip out one paragraph out of like hours of conversation anytime.
well, let me tell you
Yep.
something. Positivity
There's always
causes
that in the back of my mind that somebody could do that with these videos. Like, you know how we go off on our tangents and make it just
Sure.
all one thing.
and keeping things above board and friendly.
Yeah,
and
I
that's
also
what's
thought
gonna
Rattle's
grow
take
our
on, like,
hobby again.
Being
You know,
bribed.
Yeah.
it's not going to be all the
Hey.
negative. So
That was real clickbait.
we just
And it was
deal with
obviously
But
not
I know
him.
my
Unless the
main
guy's
point
like an
yesterday
insane person.
was that you didn't
Right.
that crap.
Yeah.
So that's
Which is
why I
weird.
wanted to.
Like that
You
type
know,
of stuff
make
just
that a
totally
very
undermines.
solid
I don't know.
point.
That's why,
Yeah.
to
Because,
be
I know
completely
you better
honest,
than any of them,
like
and I mean it's
this is I don't
you
know
it
what's
was
going
just
on, but I'm watching.
just made me angry. So
it's those things. It's like, that's what I get for trying to help people. You know.
yeah, I know, right? Yes, and
Yeah.
we get asked that all the time. Of course, people respect us; they respect our opinion. We do the best we can in helping them, and if we don't, then
Hey,
we
shout out to Thrifty PCG.
stuff
in the
like that.
chat. She'll be on this channel
Right.
in the future, hopefully.
we don't
Oh,
have
cool.
a vision. We
So,
can't.
if you guys aren't subscribed, give Thrifty TCG's channel a subscribe. She does like 10-second videos of top 10 artwork for different sets. It's pretty
And I
good
thought
stuff.
you and I both made a good point last night, and
Yeah,
that was you're not going to lose value by opening up that case. What you're
Absolutely.
going to do is increase. You
Yeah,
thought it would
ZNG in the chat. Good to see you.
substantially
That
increase.
doesn't make
I
sense.
thought it
This
would
argument
increase
makes no
some.
sense.
We both thought it would
Okay.
increase the value.
Logan paid
And so
a
I think that
premium
gave
for a
Logan
sealed
a little
case.
bit of
If you actually
a little
break
bit
down the
more,
value of the
Oh
box
yeah.
go ahead with it.
as just 6
Oh yeah.
boxes,
Oh yeah.
even
I
though
mean,
they're
at this
mint,
point, like it's we're just
he's paying
too
way
deep
more.
into it, and with Logan like addressing it as much as he already has, like we have to see this thing all the way through, no matter what. And it's maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing.
That's the type of stuff that bothers me. It's just like
I said,
it's
last
not
night,
true
kind
mathematically.
of
Like he's
surprised that
losing
they
a
didn't
lot
open
by
it
opening the
from
case.
the
Like this is the
get-go.
stuff that makes
So if
me
they
not
did open it
trust.
from the beginning,
You
like, we
know,
wouldn't be
it's
here
like
right now where we're at. So
Right.
yeah, it's
You know.
papering
Somebody
over,
earlier in the
like
chat
the reality and
said that,
the uncomfortable
Jason
reality of the
Day
situation,
yesterday,
which is that
But I don't know what good an X-ray is going to do with stacks of
if he's
paper.
forced to open
but,
this in order to prove
yeah,
its
you're not
legitimacy, it
gonna see,
devalues
like,
it completely from what he
details
thought
of
he
any, like,
had,
ink
and
or
it's
anything.
it's
You're
very
gonna see
awkward.
blocks of like mass and
Yeah, right.
blocks that I don't even know if you would see foiling, or maybe you would, like, but maybe you could see like the outlining of boxes, but nothing else, just black mass.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, but they said they did that, and I don't know why they would do that, because it would hardly help unless it would show something was in there besides cards.
What, like nuts and bolts?
Island Boy said.
You know what? It would be poetic justice if the case was open and there was a big giant black uniform. But
Then we would know who put it in there.
exactly. Exactly. Oh, good.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm going to get back to these questions. I don't want to keep you. I know you didn't plan on this.
Yeah.
But it was great fun last night, and we always have a lot of fun when we get together, and I'll be seeing a lot of you soon. So
Yeah, I'll be seeing you soon. I'm pretty certain I'm going to be in Orlando.
Oh, good.
Not in Orlando, I'll definitely be in Fort Worth, but I'm pretty certain I'm going to be in Orlando. So,
Great.
but, yeah, I can't wait to see you. And
I
thank
just sent ZNG Emporium an
Absolutely.
invite to this Zoom.
Okay.
If everyone in the chat could tell him to join, because I do want to hear ZNG's opinion on this, because
Okay, let me get
ZNG actually
another
sold Logan
question
Paul
here.
one of his first edition booster
boxes.
boxes.
What does MetaZoo have to
And
do?
I would like to hear Z and G's
Do it
take on
MetaZoo.
this because
Well, like I said, I love MetaZoo.
he think
And,
it's
you know,
real.
who knows,
He's
somewhere
somebody
down
that
the
actually
road,
deals with
this
first edition
situation
boxes.
pop
Now,
up. You know, 20 years from now,
I
there's
mean,
a
I've
Kickstarter.
never owned a first edition box. I don't know about either one of you two. So,
I
and then
have.
let alone a sealed first edition
$3 million
case. Like, forget about that.
deal.
No,
So
I've
maybe
never
we
held a
can-
case, but I've opened several first
Yeah,
edition
like
boxes.
20 years from now, maybe
I've
Scott
owned a lot of single.
wants to buy a MetaZoo case for me. You know, you
That
never
makes
know.
sense. I
But
haven't
I'm
even opened
90.
any packs, so I'm
Or almost
delighted.
90. So anyway, he'll be able to keep it confidently sealed if he does. You hear that, Scott? Okay. And also, if Rattle comes on, I would like to have him come up and say hello too. You know, because like Michael said, the Pokeju, Rattle and I are very good friends. So
That would be real interesting. For Rattle
okay,
to come
next
on.
question.
I think
Isn't
Rattle's
Logan
holding some of this
Paul-
stuff to the chest right now because I
Oh,
think
aren't
he's
you a
trying
little
his best to
old?
put it in a way that he could portray it to everyone at one time. You know.
I mean,
think
he just
little
came
old
on. Rattle just
to be
came
playing
on, and
with
they can
Logan
talk about
Paul.
it. That'd be great. I mean,
Well,
I would definitely be interested to
you know,
see.
Logan is a very, very old.
I'll send Rattle a link to this Zoom
Oh.
too.
Oh, for this,
You know,
yeah.
let's.
Sure,
I
you come
guess
on
maybe
this
I
too,
should
but
just leave
I'd
it
like
at
to see
that.
him talk to the Poke
His father
to Jake.
Yeah.
is coming
That
up
would
with
be a
my son.
battle. The two
So
of them.
there's a big separation there. So, anyway, Logan and I do have a good time together outside of Pokemon and outside of
Yeah,
all
like
this
honest to be
stuff.
honest, like
Yeah,
I
we
don't
just
know
kinda have
why
fun.
Rattle is so
So-
confident that it's fake. Like I've watched his videos.
Okay, Gary, did you know
There
of the
there
box
could be
being
so
for
much
sale on
variation
eBay
and
when it was
randomness with that old
originally
WotC.
listed?
Like this is just my
guess
take,
that
and
was
I'm not
something
an,
like the
expert on this. I don't really know,
$70,000 thing? If
but
so, were you interested
it
in
also
purchasing
seems
it?
very obvious that there
not,
was a
why?
humongous
And when
overpromise,
that was
and
happening, I was
the
it was
most
told that it's going to be you were able to keep it
so
sealed,
tied
when
up
in
with
reality,
so many
like you
different
can't
things.
keep
I
these things
didn't
sealed
pay
because
much
there is no
attention
way
to
to
it,
be
to
sure
tell you the
and to make
truth. I
everyone
hate
feel
to
comfortable
admit
without
that,
opening it. And
but I
so
didn't pay much
you should have just
attention to
opened it and then
So,
charged the price of 6
no,
very
I
mint
wasn't that
boxes
aware
instead of
of it.
like the
And
only sealed
maybe I
case
saw
left.
it
It
on
just
Yeah, I
it just
agree.
feels
Yeah.
dishonest.
agree.
And it's unfair to Logan or
If you
whatever or
happen to
whoever
see
ends up
Logan
with it in the
Paul
sense
try to
that
buy your most
like
valuable
is it
card,
does it even have value now? Like who would buy
rare
this
card. Well,
without
honestly,
opening
Right.
it? It puts him in a difficult position, even
pretty
if
much
they
any
are
other
very
deal.
sure it's real, unless PWCE could come out and
his
say
entourage was a lot
this
bigger,
is why
but,
we're
I didn't
100% sure it's
know
real. This is
Logan
why
was
everyone should feel
engaged in that. I
confident.
didn't know what he did for a living.
And then maybe there would be people who would just be
So,
like
for me, it was just
BBCE
another
is
deal.
legitimate, and Rattle and all of these other
Okay, if
people are
Rattle
not
comes on,
as legitimate
let me
sources,
know.
so we just
Let me
go with
know.
it. But I don't know. It's
Okay,
this is a huge. I mean,
when is Gary
authenticity is the
Pokemon
core of
impulsive episode?
value
Well,
in these things.
impulsive,
So
that's Logan Paul's other channel where he interviews, celebrities like the Island Boys who walk off his show, right? I mean, if I was ever on his show, I would not walk off it. I would hang in there through the whole thing, and with Mike there. I really like Mike, his cohort and George.
Is Rattle in the chat right now? I can't see on Instagram.
Dealing with addiction and that, just absolutely loved it.
Check.
So there was actually a time when Scott Pratt and me were going to go on impulsive, and it just didn't work out timing wise. So, anyway. Okay, another
I don't
question.
see 'em.
I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat in case Rattle pops in. Okay, what about the lack of fading in the label? Okay, there's fading on the 20-year-old boxes. The white labels with the black ink, the ink fades out a bit, but it's not 100% of the time because I've seen both. But yeah, pretty much the vast majority do fade over time, even if they're kept properly. I did
But
hear.
it's an inked label.
Oh, okay.
It's
I'm
not
gonna
a thermal printed label.
Yeah.
There was a time, when they, let me see. Well, yeah, let me get Rattle. Hey, hey,
there we
brother.
go.
Hello, how's it going?
Wow.
Friend.
Oh, there's his green screen.
Immersion is around here.
Bring the Pokeju back on,
well,
please.
I just mentioned, I would love to see Rattle tonight. and then about 100 people were looking for you.
Rattle's really struggling with holding that phone to get a good angle.
You're a celebrity now. You know, that all that great work you've done, you know, it's just been you know, eye-catching. Everybody's just love following it. I look every day hoping to find something besides your terrible poll videos.
Oh, the ones?
Yeah.
I hate those so much. Don't tell anyone, but I tried it out, and apparently the shorts do really well. So then
yeah, well, that's
made a
good,
little-
though. You know, that is good. But I've been looking so forward every time, you know, with the work you've done on this. And I know you and I talk a lot outside of that too. And
Pokerevs in the chat.
but I think the hobby owes you owes you a lot of gratitude for the work you've done, because all you're trying to do is make things right. You know, you're not trying to hurt anybody. You're not trying to, you know, to destroy anything. All you want to do is right a wrong if a wrong's occurring. And
yeah, so
there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't want to say I don't want to hurt anyone, but if someone's hurting someone else,
Yeah, your
Sorry.
video today was very clear on that. That you wanted to. Since your hat's forward, I'm going to move mine forward. There we
I'll
go.
move mine back.
yeah, the bucket showing. I don't have a phone stand. I'm not. This is my first Instagram live actually.
Oh,
So I might be more of a boomer than you are on this,
right.
but
Yeah.
I can't keep up to this stuff. I can hit record on the camera that I have here, but this is all new to me. So
Yeah. Well,
if
I'm
the camera
basically.
placement or anything is bad,
Yeah.
that's why.
I'm just using an iPad, you know, all by itself, and then I have the questions on my iPhone, and you know, because you know, after that live last night, I got hundreds of I got thousands of messages, but questions today I got hundreds, and so I thought maybe it'd be, you know, since none of us knows, both you and I have agreed that we hope for the best. But if it's not the best,
Yeah.
then we want it exposed.
Mhm.
And we want the people, you know, we want to hold people accountable. And if it is legit, we want that out there too. You know, we don't want
Yeah,
anybody, we don't want Logan to get ripped off either. So,
No, I don't want anyone to be ripped off. And the only thing is, like, the longer it goes on, the worse it's going to get, because it's going to be harder to trace back. And with the amount of, I guess, interest, or the amount of it being pushed as it's sealed and it has to stay sealed from the original seller all the way up to, you know, putting an extra layer on it, just seems like a bad idea.
real bad.
And
Tell you,
And
Rattle's a smart
now
dude, though.
that's even before the case was as questionable, I guess, as it is,
Right.
with as many discrepancies as it has. And then if we just want to ignore those with just the insane amount of backstory that has flaws in it,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just bad all around. There's so many red flags stuck into this thing that the red flags are just bouncing
It
off.
looks like a duck, talks like a
I
duck.
look
walks like a duck.
It'd be awesome to see it turn out real, but I think the probability of that is slim to none.
Yeah.
I think I figured out who is behind it, but
Yeah, I saw that. I watched that today. I follow your every word, believe me, and I think everybody else should too. And on YouTube, that's Rattle Pokemon, Rattle Pokemon. And so be sure to follow Rattle, and before this happens this weekend, you should, you know, check it out. You know, check out, you know, what he said. I can tell you this: in the beginning, I was pretty certain that it was going to be real, and that. But I'll tell you, after watching a lot of your stuff, even you have me concerned. So, because you know, with me, it's all emotions.
I love that Rattle's always drinking a beer. Like, that is freaking.
But it's all emotions. I want it to be okay. So, you know, I just can't. I just, you know, hate that it's not going to be okay, and it's just, you know. But that's better than you know, having nothing done. I'll tell you what: if you hadn't have done what you did, this never would have come out.
no. Well, maybe then you get another shrink wrap over top of the shrink wrap, and it just gets further and further from being opened, and you never know. If it's the people that I think are responsible for this too, I just hope that it falls on them more than anything, because if it is them, they've been ripping people off for years, and they've even scared people
I'm
into.
having a lot of fun doing this, but my wife's in the other room.
Maybe
I gotta go. All right, guys.
this is where to
It's getting late, and my
Get there,
baby's
come up
crying,
and-
and I kept going in there to put the passy in his mouth, but it's
with this dollar value.
too, too much.
You can only imagine the
But
amount.
to everybody out there, I want to say thank you for coming on.
Especially
My dog
somebody
did
with
join
resources.
last second.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun as always.
You could say hi to everybody out there in YouTube land. But let him go back down. All right, guys. But yeah, thank you to everyone that joined. Before you guys leave, if you hit that like button, that mean a lot. But Jake, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your screen, doing everything you do for the community. Echo, I think you have one of the most underrated YouTube channels out there, and I think you're going to grow very quickly. So I'll leave a link for both Echo and Jake's YouTube channel. I think everybody's got Jake's channel on lock, but maybe not Echo. So
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
no, thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right. Good night, everyone.
Night, guys.